All right, ladies and gentlemen, let me unmute my mic. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's get to it, man. I'm super excited. It's kind of low a little bit. Which one is it? All right. All right. Can you guys hear me pretty good? Ian, can you hear me pretty good?
Yeah, I got you loud and clear.
All right, man. Let's get to it, man. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Today, happy 2024. Tina, Nikki, Miss Latasha, thank you for joining us today, man. This is going to be a phenomenal room. Today, listen, we're going to be rocking out. We're going to be talking about 2024 running strategies. Happy New Year. Let's go. All right, I got my sound effects. This is a little low. All right, y'all know that's my favorite sound, y'all. Okay. All right, my microphone is up. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon, wherever you're at. Listen, get on stage right now. I want everybody to get on stage right now because here's the deal. Sitting in the listening lounge is not going to help you. I want every single person to get on stage right now. I am currently live on TikTok. I'm about to start my Twitter Spaces here. Okay, here shortly. And today we're going to be talking about 2024 winning real estate strategies. And I see my sister, Dr. Ashley, very special Wilkerson is in the building. Ian Jensen is in the building. Can you guys introduce yourselves really quick? We'll start with my sister Sierra's in the building. Let's start with Sierra first, and then we're gonna go to Ashley and then Ian.
Hi, everyone. Good morning. My name is Sierra Taylor. I am a real estate professional here in Southern California. I work alongside Anthony, Ian, Kyler, Ashley, and our entire large mega icon team. I look forward to chatting and discussing real estate strategies for 2024. I am also a military veteran and accountant by trade.
That is what I'm talking about, man. Let's freaking go, man. Listen, today's going to be a good room. This is our first room in the Winning Real Estate House. So for those of you who are just joining us, listen, we don't want you hanging out in the listening lounge. We want you on stage. So Janelle, Kim, everybody that's here, we got a special announcement to make. Yesterday, we had 31 people text WIN to 760-385-8211 that were looking to get into real estate. 30 plus commitment. 31. How many was it? 31 or 32, Ian? I can't remember. 32, I believe it was. Okay. All right. So I am live on Twitter Spaces. I am live on TikTok. We are live on Instagram. We are live everywhere. Christian Mingles. Listen, this year is going to be a good year. I'm super excited to tell you guys that we just got off the phone with Elena Cardone a couple of minutes ago. We joined. We partnered with Grant in February. I sold our brokerage and relinquished my ownership in my Remax franchise, and then we joined Cardone Veterans. Okay, we still have our mortgage company, our real estate company, and everything else. And since August, we were able to get in the top 10 out of 785 agents. So you know what that tells me? That means that we're going to be number one next year. So for those of you that are if you're a real estate professional, if you're a mortgage professional, if you are seeking to be a real estate investor, if you are looking to win in real estate in 2024, this is the space for you. So for those of you who are in the listening lounge, I want you guys to get on stage. I'm your host, Anthony Glenn. Happy New Year to you guys. I'm super excited. We had a crazy room yesterday. It was insane, and Ian and I got a lot of phone calls to make. 30 plus people text WIN to 760-385-8211. If you listen, I'm gonna start with this, and I'm gonna make you uncomfortable. If you had a real estate goal in 2023 that you did not meet, I want you to put a 1 in the chat. Okay, we're starting with accountability. Okay, so everybody that's in here, put accountability in the chat also. I want to know. Okay, Shay, Catherine, Nick, I see a couple of people. Okay, I'm going to put a 1 in the chat as well because I had a goal that I did not meet in 2021 as well. I mean, in 2023. But guess what? I am not stopping. I am on my pivot. I have already ran this morning. Let me tell y'all. Okay. I want to tell y'all an acronym that I want you guys to remember. And this is my acronym that I'm starting with in 2024. So you guys can, and I'm going to go to Sierra I'll go to Ashley for a quick introduction. Okay. I'm so fired up right now. Listen, this morning I ran. Okay. I read my Bible. Okay. I finished a book this morning. Okay, now I'm contenting. Okay, and then I'm serving the community. Okay, so that acronym is REPS. Okay, everybody put REPS in the chat, and I want you guys to remember this acronym. And I want you guys to check off these things. That's my acronym for this year. REPS. Okay, read, exercise, pray, and serve. Read, exercise, pray, and serve, or support. Either serve or support is interchangeable, okay? And I'll talk to you guys about the book. I see Dr. Clarissa is on Facebook. Thank you for joining us. I will talk to you guys about the book, and I'm gonna read a couple of things out of the book so you guys will know what it is that I did, okay? So without further ado, let's rock out. Ian Jensen, can you tell the people who you are and what you do, and then we'll go back to Ashley's left. Okay, we'll go back to Dr. Ashley, but go ahead, jump in, Ian.
Hey, everybody. Good morning. Name is Ian Jensen. I am here live at the Glen household, right? We're ready to go. We're in each room, probably echoing over there on Tony's mic, right? So we're here to kick some digital butt and give you guys some great information today. Everybody here, I want you to kind of write down your own goals to make sure that we stay accountable. All right, New Year's, new you, all that good stuff, right? So let's keep things going. I want to make sure everyone's got the chance to get out there. You already took a first step and came here to learn and give something back to yourself. So let's keep everything going. My name is Ian Jensen. I'm a real estate investor and sales professional down here in Southern California. I, alongside Anthony and Sierra here, are doing our best to make sure the veterans and active duties in our sphere of influence have the best opportunity to get the information they need to go out there and learn how to start investing and taking advantage of the entitlements that they have, as well as we provide great investment strategies to any aspiring real estate investor out there. So we want to thank you all for coming in here, and we are excited as hell to give you as much information as possible. But remember, y'all, it ain't going to work unless you do. So let's get it going. Back to you, Tony.
Outstanding. And Ian, I'm on Twitter Spaces if you want to hop over there too as well. So guys, listen, check this out. So again, yesterday we had over 30 people commit themselves to becoming a real estate investor. So Nick, Donna, William, Abu, Renee, Noah, Dr. JS. I'm going to ask you guys to come on stage. Okay. I want you to hit the hand raising button and come on stage right now. Okay. And this is the reason why I want you guys to come on stage. I want you guys to come on stage because we want to talk to you guys and we want to know what real estate goal that you put out in the universe that you did not meet. Okay. Because here's the deal, guys. Listen, if you're not trying to get held accountable, why are you coming into this space? Y'all see, and look, y'all could see my, if you click the link above my head, you will see my my pit bull. I just got a new pit bull. His name is Boomer. Okay, y'all can see him back there. Come here, Boomer. Okay, if you click the link above my head, you'll be able to see Boomer here. Let me see if I can get him. Come here. Come here. Oh, all right. Look at Boomer, y'all. This is my pit bull. Okay. All right. Y'all can see my little snuggle butt in here. Okay. He's always kissing on me. Say hi, Boomer. Hello, everybody. So this is my little dog. For those of you who want to see me, we are live on YouTube. But let's get to the real estate teaching, okay? I want to jump right into it, okay? So, Catherine, good morning. How are you doing this morning?
Good morning. How are you?
I'm super outstanding, and I'm super.
Happy New Year.
What goal did you set for 2020? For 2023 that you did not achieve?
So, because I was relatively new in the wholesaling space, I set myself a goal to at least make 50K. And the first two properties that I actually got a contract on was 80,000, and they fell. And when they fell, I was disappointed, and so I kind of took a back seat like I just felt winded, right? Which was the wrong attitude to actually have, because it just felt like, okay, well, sucks. So I picked myself back up in November, I think October. I kept coming in your room and mortgage syndicate, blah, blah, blah. And then I picked myself back up in October, got going fully in November. And then by December, I have like about 20 contracts right now.
That's what I'm talking about, man.
Yeah. So
I love it.
Yeah, I'm super excited. I'm actually sat right, and then I started to JV with somebody from the mortgage syndicate. So, because she has a buyer's list and I don't quite have a buyer's list just yet, so we're going back and forth. So that's what I'm currently doing. Thank you.
Out freaking standing. And I love that. Listen to me, guys. Here's something that I want to say, guys. Listen, I do not care about, I don't care how many people are in the room. I care about the people that are here that are willing to commit themselves to do something that they're uncomfortable with doing. So can we get uncomfortable today? And we're going to, I think the word accountability is going to be a big thing. For those of you who are in the listening lounge, let me do a quick room reset. 2024 winning real estate strategies. We're going to be talking about some of the things that you could do in 2024 to win. Now, I did do a 1031 exchange last year. I'm going through a rehab on a property right now. I'm also doing we're amping up our production. We're doing 3 events every month. Right now, we're planning for a VA loan masterclass out here in sunny Southern California. And then also I'm working on our content. And then we're also working on some government contracts to get a bigger thing. And also our partnership with Cardone Vets, we're growing as well. So here's the deal, guys. A lot of people will set their goals in January, and then by the end of March, they're done with them. Put a 1 in the chat if that's you, straight up. Like, all right, I'm going to get out here. I'm going to do it, whatever it is. And a lot of you guys are quitting before your breakthrough. But I'm going to talk to you guys about some of the things that you guys could do. What up, Stack? Stack is in the building. Okay. I want to talk to you guys about some of the things that you guys could do to win in real estate. And I want you guys to ask as many questions as possible because we want you to change your perspective on real estate. And we're going to start with some of the things that we've seen that's going on in the market. And I'd like for you to do me a favor. Sierra, also, I'm going to give you guys an assignment to do real quick so you guys can bring some real-time statistical data. Sierra, are you here? Are you available to look something up for us real time? Okay, Sierra's probably just parked. Go ahead.
I had to park right now. I've got multiple things going on right now.
I got you.
But I'm here.
No problem. What's up, Jonathan? Jonathan Bing is in the building. What's up, Jonathan? Happy New Year. Jonathan is in the building. Okay. I'm going to invite Jonathan as a co-host. Thank you for joining us, Jonathan. Happy New Year to you, brother. Okay. And feel free to unmic and introduce yourself when you get a chance. Thank you for being here. Jonathan is in on Twitter Spaces, and he's coming in here to support. So I appreciate you pulling up to the space. But Ian, can you do me a favor real quick while I do a quick introduction to Kyler? Is I want you guys to look up what is the shortage of houses 2023, okay, in America. That's what I want you to look up. What's the shortage of houses in 2023? I want to know how many houses is America short, okay? So I want you to answer that question. Now, and the reason why I want you to answer that question is because, we're going to give you some statistical data for you guys to analyze. And this is something that, and Veronica, thank you for sharing. Veronica, why are you in the audience, man? Come on stage, sister. I see you down there. Come on up. And guys, this is not just us sharing information with you, but we want to encourage you guys to have the courage to get out there and buy real estate. Ian, let me know when you're ready to read that information. And then Veronica, can you talk about the shortage of houses and what contributes to that?
All right, I got something right here from Fox Business. All right, so the most recent estimates from Freddie Mac suggest that the country is short about 3.8 million units of housing for both rent and sale.
Okay, and then also, Ian, can you invite John? I've invited Jonathan and invited him to speak on Twitter. Okay, just make sure that he's up on stage, please, so he can curate the space so people can know that we're here. All right, Jonathan. What's up, Jonathan? Jonathan is on Twitter Spaces. You'll hear him speaking through my profile. What's up, Jonathan? Thank you for joining us. Really appreciate you being here today. Okay, so Jonathan's probably parking. So let's talk about some of the things that contributed to this, and I'm gonna tell you guys why it's important to get as much real estate as possible. Okay, so let's talk about that. Veronica, why do you think that there's a shortage of houses in the United States? Veronica going once. Anybody want to answer? Why do you guys believe that there's a shortage of houses in the United States? Don't all jump in at once. Kyler, Ian, you guys can hear me, right?
Okay, I got a couple different factors going on. So interest rates, definitely one of them. All right, a lot of people can't afford to get into a house, but the biggest thing is that there's the rates are slowing things down from a couple different angles, right? So that's slowing things down as far and creating a shortage because the people that bought in the last couple of years have an advantageous interest rate. So what they're doing is they're staying in place, right? They're stabilized and they're happy as a pig in mud, so they're not going anywhere. So they're just going to sit back and chill, let their equity stack up because they got a nice affordable rate. And because they're not selling and people aren't moving, it's creating a shortage because there's fewer houses coming up for sale for people to buy.
Okay, so everybody put the acronym STUD, stud. Stud. Okay. And my man Bruno is in the house. And guys, feel free to answer any, this is popcorn style, the way we rock out. Okay. And I want you guys to understand this. These are some of the things that we're going to talk about that a lot of people, we're going to encourage you guys to have the confidence to get out there and get into real estate, because this is a big thing, guys. A lot of people are afraid to get into real estate because they think that the market is going to crash. Let me tell y'all, okay, it's going to take approximately 10 years, okay, for the market to just get to normal. Now, let me tell you about some of the compensating factors. What's up, Stack Pack? Happy New Year, brother.
Ooh-wee! 2024 flow. Let's go. What we doing, Tony?
Oh, it's about to be lit, man. And guess what, man? After today's conversation, I'm going to get back on your podcast. Can you let the people know who you are and what you do, please?
Listen, first of all, we in Tony Glenn's room. We in this winning real estate, right? 2024 winning real estate strategies. If you guys are not prepared, well, you better get ready, especially for 2024. Jack, we laying it down, connecting out with more people. We putting more people in a position to win, especially over at Media Mentors. And if you guys have not checked out Tony coming over there, we did the Anthony Glenn Money Secrets, and we laid it down, and we kicked it like 3 senseis in a row, right? So please go check out that episode in the Media Mentors. Tony, I wanted to give you my gratitude, brother. You know how people love to give you, people always wait till it's too late to give people their flowers. I always do this, right? Appreciate you, Tony, for coming through. Gratitude for giving that education to the audience. They needed that. If you guys don't know who I am, I do a lot with the media mentorship, social media, right? Leveling up, billboards, magazines, articles, putting people in a position to win. I done got a TV show from the app, right? I got signed to a label when I first got on the app in 2020, and we still standing on business right now. I got some of the biggest partnerships in the game, right? Bel Air, Crave Vape, Rockstar Original. I can't even name them on the list. I'll probably blow up on stage. Tony, you know what it is, standing on business. And brother, thank you for always having my back. Tony's did some things off this app that I can't even talk about. It's priceless. Let's go, Tony.
Man, if y'all like that energy, put a fire emoji in the chat, because y'all need that energy going through the 2024, man. Here's the deal, guys. Going back to the Stack, bro. I love you, brother. Looking forward to seeing you in a couple of weeks. Okay, out.
Yeah.
Hey, we're gonna turn up, man. So you're gonna have to stay at Mi Casa. Okay, all right. So we're gonna turn up, and so here's the deal, guys. Listen, stud, scarcity, transferability, utility, and demand. There's two economical things that create value in properties, and then I'm gonna go over to my brother Bruno Nascimento in the building. Bruno, can you talk about stud and why this is important? Can you give us a couple of acronyms? Why is stud important in regard to the valuation of homes?
Yeah, most definitely. Hey guys, good morning. Bruno down here in Southern California, like the rest of the crew. But so getting straight to it, man. So scarcity being the thing that is ultimately going to dictate, how unique something is, like how much of something is there, right? Which will ultimately lead to the demand, right? Which is going to impact the demand of something. The more of something that you need, right? The more of it or the less of it is what's going to drive the price behind it, right? The transferability being the thing that kind of clarifies whether you are able to transfer something from one person to the next, right? Kind of like we're talking about money or anything else, like it is only worth anything, there's only value because you can give it from one person to the next, right? So your ability to transfer that from, in between parties is what gives it that value. Utility being the ability to be able to use something. How useful is it? If you have a 4 bedroom, 1 bath, right, it's probably less useful than a 4 bedroom, 3 baths. And then lastly, we say demand, which kind of goes, with the initial thing that we were talking about, the scarcity. Ultimately, the demand. How much, do people want this specific thing? So those are ultimately going to be the things that keep you out of trouble. Right. If ever you go and you let that kind of be the thing that dictates how it is that you go about finding properties and buying properties, that's what's going to keep you out of trouble, because regardless of what happens to any economic shift, impacts to the housing market or anything else, the demand for something will always be there if you go about it the right way and you kind of break it down the way that we were just kind of going through. But that's done. Scarcity, transferability, utility, demand. Back over to you, bro.
Outstanding. Now, and I want to talk about these things. I'm gonna pass the mic back over to anybody who wants to jump in. And thank you for joining us, Kalila. Hi, hey, yeah, we got some cool people up in the building, man. Some good familiar faces. Flash your mic if
Got
you're
my
on
brother
stage.
Nick in here too, Tony. Let's go.
Yeah, man, we got some new faces in the building, man. It's a blessing to see you guys. Happy 2024, guys. Listen, we want you to win. But here's the deal. Either you want to do it or you don't want to do it. If you don't know if you don't want if you want to do it, it's not important to you. The reason why you didn't get any real estate last year, okay, is because you didn't want it. It wasn't important to you. You put stuff in place, okay, and you decided that everything else that you did was more important than getting that piece of real estate that could set you apart from anyone else. Listen to me. Everybody put these two things in the chat right now. Corporate structure, LLC. Corporate structure, not LLC, but corporate structure, real estate. Put that in the chat right now. Every single person, retweet it. I'm putting this out here in January. I'm telling you how important this stuff is. A corporate structure and real estate are the only two things that is going to give you passive income infinitely if you structure it the correct way. Okay? You are not going to become a multimillionaire unless you have these two things in your portfolio: a corporate structure and everybody unmute your mic and say and corporate structure and real estate. Okay. They go hand in hand, guys. These are the two fundamental things that are essential for you guys building wealth. If I have to scream it at the top of my lungs, today is about accountability. We want you guys to get to the bag and win in real estate by leveraging corporate structure and real estate to, number one, lower your taxable income, and number two, build an empire that you can pass down wealth. Now, before we go on right now, this is what I want you guys to do that are listening to my voice. I want you guys to put in the chat the most important person in your life right now. Let's do it. I want all 71 people that are on this space right now to either retweet that and put it, the most important person, either tweet it, put it in the chat. Right now, I'm on Twitter, LinkedIn, all of these spaces. I want you guys to put it in the chat. Who is the most important person in your life right now? Put it in the chat. I'm waiting to see it. Okay. And thank you guys for joining us. I see ML, I see MH, and I see Free. Thank you for joining us on Twitter Spaces. I said the name, Alvin, the first name, Alvin, the first name. Okay. All right. So here's the reason why I'm asking you guys to do that. Kelsey. Okay. Michaela. Okay. I see a couple of people. Jack Reacher. Come on. Clarissa said Jack Reacher. Okay. The reason why I'm asking you guys to do that is because do you want those people that you put in the chat to inherit your procrastination? Do you want them to be a victim of you not being able to pass down something that's going to be infinitely valuable and print money? Okay. So the reason why I'm asking you these questions and I'm telling you guys this stuff is because it's essential for you guys to understand how important it is to have these two things. Now, Nick, are you here? Brother Nick, thank you for joining us. Nick, are you here? All right, we'll come back to Nick. Hi, how are you doing? Happy 2024.
Hey, Happy New Year, everyone. I'm doing well. How are you?
I am doing outstanding. Okay. So, do you have any, what is your winning question for today, man? What question do you have about real estate? It could be anything,
Could be anything, huh?
anything. First question that
I
comes to
actually,
mind.
I actually had a friend. I have this one deal. I'm having a little bit challenging trying to find funding for it. Actually, the problem I have with this deal because it's supposed to be a commercial deal, right? There's a company at the bottom, and then there's two family um, rentals up on top. The two top is vacant. The problem is I got the I got the what do you call those things when they pay for um, when they pay for the inspection. So it came back. The building has mold and it needs to be rebuilt. And the guy wanted to buy this as is because he wants to go in and fix it. What route would I have to go for the best route on this?
Okay. So you have a multi-unit that has mold and there's a person that
Yeah,
wants to buy it
the
as is.
bio as is because I think he's gonna go in and demolish it and put his move his business in there and then build it all back up.
Where's it located at?
Jersey.
Okay. Okay. Now, and you're trying to figure out what is the most effective way to relinquish your ownership in this property, sell it.
No, for me, I'm trying to find funding on this one. It's smaller. I think the guy is looking for like 600K to fund this deal, but I'm having an issue with a lot of investors that I normally deal with that would put funding into this, but it actually got declined once they did the inspection with so much change in it, right? Because then he would have to put down 30% LTV, and then he would actually have to put an escrow of how much he's gonna to fix it before he gets in, and it would I think it would be like it's too much for him.
Okay, so what about your now? And now let me ask a couple of other questions so I can give you and Bruno, Ian, feel free to jump in because I want to yield to you guys and say how you guys would structure the deal. But first, I'm gonna yield the mic to Ian because I know he's listening. Okay, and then Bruno, you can give her some advice, and then I'll wrap everything up. Go ahead and jump in. Sierra, feel free to jump in also if you can. Now, did you do a mold inspection? You know beyond reasonable doubt that it's mold or no?
The from the pictures, yeah, I know there is from the pictures that he sent back from I guess the inspection. He tried to get a loan like prior meeting me, and I think he basically got denied because the inspection came back, and the pictures of it is definitely was bold on the pictures.
Okay, so I'm gonna tell you something. You ready for this one?
Mm-hmm.
M- Mold and mildew look the same. You know that, right?
Okay.
If he did not do a actual mold inspection, then do you know this person?
I've spoken to him really, but no, I don't really know this person. It was actually the deal was brought to me,
Okay,
and so I don't know, but he's willing to buy it from the seller as is, so he can fix it. But I'm trying to find ways and all the investors that I have, that's what pretty much killed the deal.
awesome. Ian, do you want to jump in? Ian. Okay, all right. So a couple of things. Now, does anybody else want to jump in and add value before I jump in? I want to make sure I pass the mic around.
Sure, sure. I'm Noah Jackson. Based out of Detroit. And just to kind of add on to the whole mold thing, actually in our state, especially around Detroit in the area, mold is a very common thing. And you're right, like mold and mildew look the same, and you won't really know until you take it to a lab and get that tested. There's white mold, there's black mold, there's different levels of that. And oftentimes you can negotiate a remediation into the deal, or maybe the cost of it. Maybe you might knock down a little bit of a price or for the cost of that, but that's all workable, and mold really shouldn't be a determining factor in killing a deal if you can see a forest from the trees from that. There's always a way you can kind of use it as leverage as part of a deal, but I wouldn't let that try to discourage my buyers from doing that because oftentimes they can get taken care of pretty easily.
In addition to that, another thing that I wanted to add to that is that it sounds like that a couple of things. One, as long as you disclose it sounds like a funding problem and not a mold issue problem. Would you agree with me?
Yes, no, it is a funding issue. It is a funding problem because, to be honest, I think he was actually looking to fix the whole property, and I think I was thinking about getting a construction loan, going that route with him, but he says it's probably going to take about like 150K.
Now, is this,
But if I were going to put that into
here's
an
here's what
escrow, that'd be like too much for him.
here
So
here's one thing that I would definitely do. At the end of the day, you have the deal, correct?
yes.
Now, what is your equitable position in the deal? Are you you have it wholesaling? Or are you doing a subject to, or do you own it?
No, I mean I own it. It was brought to me, so I was just kind of. I was actually doing this as someone as a friend of for a friend of mine to help him out because normally I don't do deals so small, but this one, it's I've known him since 2015, so I was actually trying to help him out.
I'm gonna tell you straight up, Miss Nguyen, can I cut you before I hug you?
Sure, go ahead.
All right, money is green. All right.
Yes,
Listen,
money is green. I do know that.
at the end of the day, look, it's cool to help people out, but if you're trying to squeeze them into this deal, it doesn't sound like he's a willing and able buyer, straight up. So I think that if you're trying to unload the property and get your revenue out of the property, then you need to open it up to other willing and able buyers and then also what they'll try to do is they'll try to eat away at their at the property value with adding all of these extra things, right? So if they don't have a scope of work, right, and they don't have the funding, why are you even talking about mold with this person? So, and then plus when people say mold, that's like, oh my God, mold foundation. It's not a problem. It's a challenge that needs to be accepted if that person wants to do the deal. So that will be my solid advice to you is find a willing, able buyer if you're trying to unload it. But if you need funding, I'm gonna send you a message. And then we will in the chat. I'm gonna put this number. Text WIN WIN to 760-385. Okay, I'm putting it in the chat. 8211. Okay, and then we'll look at that deal and see if that guy's we can even get the funding for it. But at the end of the day, don't let a guy just eat you up, eat your equitable position up because they don't have. Number one, he doesn't have a scope of work. Number two, pictures is not an actual because the scope of work is going to tell you what you need. The home inspection is obviously going to check all the big six that's most expensive to fix a home, and I'm gonna run them down to you guys: plumbing, heating, air, electrical, foundation, and roof. Those are the most expensive things to fix in property. Okay. Plumbing, heating, air, electrical, foundation, and roof. Bruno, are you here? Bruno still here? Okay. So plumbing, heating, air, electrical, foundation, and roof.
I'm here, man.
Okay. Can you put those things in the chat? And then if he didn't do a scope of work and then he didn't present that in his offer, he shouldn't even be making an offer on that property if he doesn't have the funding for it. Straight up. That would be my advice.
All right.
She said, all right. You already knew that though, right?
To be honest, I was actually kind of shocked myself, and I'm like, what is going on?
Yes.
I thought it would be an easy 1, 2, 3, but I guess like all these things just came up, and he's been having a problem getting funding. But it's I don't know. This guy's really, I don't know.
If he's serious,
Anyway,
right?
huh?
Because a serious buyer will bring the money. You shouldn't be having to negotiate with the seller to try to get funding. And if you have to help him, then he doesn't want the property.
That is true.
Okay.
That is true.
So, and listen, I don't believe what people tell me. I believe what people show me. Okay. So that would be my advice to you. It might not be, but listen, what was the key? What is the topic of what is the discussion of the room today? Accountability, right? So listen, man, I know it's not personal. Look, you got a deadline. If you can't meet these parameters and you want to unload that property, then get it in front of people who have that are in position to do that. And hopefully I was able to pour some value into you, sister. Thank you for bringing that question to the stage. Outstanding. Let me do a quick room reset. You guys are in the Winning Real Estate House. Give a special shout out to all of my friends on Twitter Spaces. Look, guys, listen, We have 19 people on Twitter Spaces. We currently have 60 people here in Clubhouse. Shout out to all of you guys that are joining us today. We are live and in color on YouTube, LinkedIn, Christian Mingles, all of that, right? Farmers Only. We trying to, hey, we going hard this morning, okay? So, Mimi, I see you had I see you have your hand raised. Mimi, do you have a question? Storm, Andrea, does anybody have a question on Twitter Spaces that they'd like to propose to us? Any questions? All right, Mimi, I invited you to speak. How you doing, ML? Good to see you guys. Okay, so I see some hand raising. Now, let me go over to Andrea. Andrea, are you here?
Hi. Yes, I'm here.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How can we help you this morning? What's your winning question for today?
Okay, so my question for today is I was thinking about using buying a property for some of my children here. And I wanted to know what like is the best way to structure it from like a business perspective. I know you mentioned that yesterday slightly, and I'd really love to like just hear your advice on how my son is 18 and my other son is 16, and so we have land that we can like deed to them and build property on.
Don't deed the
But okay. Okay, so I just wanted to know like what is like the best approach for them.
magnificent question. Okay, so guys, put a 1 in the chat if you guys want to know this question. How do you get property for your kids? Okay, now I'm going to now for those of you who are look, this is the reason why we are here today. So I'm going to yield the mic to Bruno and the other moderators that are here. Did you guys want to jump in and talk about
Real
how to
quick,
start that?
real quick, Tony. I just got something to say.
Yeah, go ahead, jump in, Stack Pack, of course.
Listen, I want you guys to realize, like, when you come across information, don't just take in the information, apply the information. Don't just sit here and listen to Tony, Bruno, Ian, Kyler, everybody that comes to the stage. Make sure you guys are applying this information, because Tony could be doing anything else with his time, right? Everybody else could be doing anything else, but they choose to come here and build the winning real estate, help you guys out, give back the information. I'm just sitting in gratitude, Tony. I'm just chilling. You know me, man. As soon as I hear, social media or hear anything with media, you guys can definitely ask me a question, but I'm just here to support my brother, and I'm just loving the information, because it's nothing but gems dropped on you guys, and I just don't want it to go over your head. Apply it. Get it and apply. Back to you, Tony. Media Mentors. Let's go.
Thank you, brother. And I'm going to come and stick around because I want to bring you in because I think this is essential, okay? Because you could find your properties and deals leveraging social media. So I'm definitely going to circle back around to you. And listen, now, the question that you asked is, how do you buy a property for your children? What is the best strategy to go and to do this? Okay, so I want Ian, Bruno, Sierra, I want you guys to start it, and then you throw me the alley-oop, and I'm going to slam dunk it, okay? But go ahead, jump in, guys.
Yeah, so I mean, I think, and I'll keep it wave tops, man. It's the easiest way is you acquire a property, and then you put the property in a trust, and then you have your children as the beneficiaries of that trust. Hopefully that's enough to kind of start kicking it off.
Yes. Okay. That's that. Okay. So, and that is definitely the way to start it. Okay. So now I have a question for you. Will you commit yourself to completing this task after I give you this game? Okay. Yes or no?
Yes, of course. Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna kick it to you for free, and I'm gonna give you step by step on how I would do that. Okay, retweet a win. Okay, if you guys want to hear how I structured a real estate empire for my son and daughter. Okay, and I'll bring them in here, guys. If you click the link above my head, Ian, can you post the YouTube channel at the top? I'm going to bring my kids in here, and you can hear it from their own eyes. And I'm actually going to pull out. What I'm going to do for you guys is I'm going to pull out the actual W-2 that their own LLC paid them as employees, guys. I'm going to do it real time and show it to you so you guys can actually see there's no capith on the appeth, all right? So step one, okay, identify the location that you want to get the property in. That's going to be step one, okay? After you identify the property, you want to underwrite the property and see if it's a good deal, Okay. That we're not going to get into that. I'm just going to give you the way tops and the steps, but I'm going to tell you how important it is to structure it this way. Okay. All right. So, number 2 is going to be after you acquire the property, you are going to put the property in a trust. Now, can anybody tell me why it's important to put the property in the trust? Can anybody on Twitter? I'm going to invite you guys to speak. Anybody on Clubhouse, YouTube, anybody want to tell me why it's important to put the property in the trust? Because I'm telling you guys this because I want you guys to know why you want to put it in the trust. And I'm going to tell you how to put it in the trust also. It's very simple. Okay. Anybody?
So yeah, so primarily, man, I think the biggest thing, right, is that it helps with keeping that property from going to probate. So a lot of times, we worry about what happens to us or to our loved ones after we pass. So that's one way to kind of make sure that you're saving them the most amount of money, grief, and really putting them through less things than they're already going through because of your passing.
Bingo. Okay. So if you put it in if you put it in your name and you die, right? Because the kid's a minor, or if you put them on title, what happens if you pass away and the kid is underage? That minor kid is not going to know what's going to happen to that property. Now, let's just say that another scenario is that you guys had a property. Listen, if you own a property right now, retweet the number 1. If you own a property or put the number 1 in the chat on Clubhouse. If you own a property right now, put a 1 in the chat because I want everybody to listen to me. Okay, this is very important. If that property is in your name and you pass away, that property is going to have to go through a legal process in order to transfer ownership. I don't care what state you're in, where you're located at. It does not matter. If your property is in your name and you pass away, your property is subject to probate, which is a legal action that's going to take the transfer from one person to another. Now, let me play a little scenario, and I'm going to give you a quick story. When my father, my parents were married. They got a divorce when I was 3 years old. My father was in the Army. Okay. My father traveled the world, bought properties everywhere. I moved with my mother. Okay. And the reason why I'm sharing this story is because this situation could be you as well. Okay. So now take one step, another step forward. My family. Okay. My dad got sick with cancer in 2000. He passed away in 2010. But before he passed away, he said, son, now he remarried a woman who had he remarried a single parent. So he married a woman who already had a son from a previous relationship. Okay. Now he married that person. And when he married that person, okay, I didn't move with my father until I was, how old was I? 11 or 12. My dad told me, hey, you're going to be good to go because we have we've created a process to where, I've willed some property over to you and your sister. You guys are going to be good along with your brother. Okay. Make sure you take care of your brother. All right. Now, nothing wrong. My brother's a little slow, he's a little, he's a late bloomer. Now, when my father passed away, my mother said she lost the will. Did y'all hear that? When my father passed away, my stepmother said that she lost the will. Now, what do you think my brother and I got? My sister and I got, which is my father's biological kids? Nothing. We didn't get 1 red cent. And I'm sharing that personal testimony with you guys because, the will, if the will, you can't entitle property, real estate, cars, anything in a will. You can only transfer an asset in a will. And that's because you cannot entitle that in a will. And if you don't have a copy of it, then I would have to take now what do? Do I take my mom to court and find out what happened to my dad's properties? Or now that I'm a successful entrepreneur and I'm 20x my father's wealth, I got to let it go, right? So I'm sharing that personal testimonies because every last one of you guys, this is the biggest transfer of wealth out there. If your property is not in a trust, you are subject to probate. Okay. That means that anybody can contest that will. When you entitle that, property in your name, and when you entitle it in the trust name, the trust owns it, which means that it's evergreen. So that means when I look up your property, it'll say entrusted to Anthony Glenn. Okay, it'll be willed over to. I mean, it'll be entrusted to that person. So that means that I would own. The trust would own the property. I wouldn't own it. And then also the owning the property in the trust, you avoid taxes and stuff like that. There's certain taxes that you avoid. So that means when I pass away, it specifically states what happens to all of the property that I own because it's not in my name. Whose name is it in? Let me see if you guys are learning what I'm talking about. Whose name is the property in now? The trust. The trust. Okay.
The trust.
The trust. Okay. So that means that the trust, you could say, you cannot sell this property for 20 years. Okay. The trust could say, you have to graduate from college in order to sell this property. The trust can say, you know, if let's just say on stage right now, I have a couple of people in here, Bruno and Ian. Bruno is the rock star in the family and I'm the dirtbag in the family. Okay. Now let's just say that I'm highlighting this and I'm talking about this stuff because it's essentially important. If you own a property, get your property out of your freaking name, put it in a trust. Okay. Now, once that property is entrusted in the trust name, that means whatever provisions that you put in place, that's where the property is going to go and who's going to manage the property. Now, here's another thing. So we already beat that dead horse, right? Put the property in the trust. Now, that means that the trust owns it. Now, that's the second step. So that means that the property will be entitled in the trust name. How do you do it? Call a lawyer. Now, Ian, are you here?
Yeah, brother, I'm here.
You're my attorney. I'm going to call you up. Ring, ring.
Hello, law offices Jensen.
All right, man. All right. I have some properties and I'd like to create a trust.
Deal. Let's just set it up. All right. Do you have your operating agreement?
Okay, bingo. Now, the second step after you put that trust in place is to create the operating agreement and corporate structure. So put that in the chat. Step 1, buy the property. Step 2, get it out of your name and title it in the trust. Step 3, you're going to create a corporate structure and an operating agreement. Ian, can you talk to the people about an operating agreement and tell them what it is?
Okay, so operating agreement. All right, so this is kind of the bylaws and the how do I want to say it? This is how a company will be ran. All right, so it states in place like who is the general partner, who are the associate partners, who's the owner, what allocation of ownership you have laid out for each of the different parties that are involved. Like for instance, to put it simply, like if this is my company, I put myself as owner at 100% of at 100% of the shares. All right. So what it does, it lays out everything involved, and it also has a couple subordinate clauses in there in case like you pass away. It has somebody who can create, or excuse me, it has somebody named specifically who can go in there and make decisions if you are incapacitated by any means.
Bingo. Also within that operating agreement, okay, what's going to happen within that operating agreement now? My suggestion now, I'm not an enrolled agent or a CPA or anything else, but I would create a limited liability company over an S Corp. Okay. The reason why I would do an LLC over an S Corp is because LLC has members and an S Corp has shareholders. Put that in the chat. I want y'all to retweet that too. S Corp has shareholders. LLC has members. This is very, very important. And this stuff right here is what people are not talking about, guys. Now, can anybody on stage tell me what is the fundamental difference between shareholders and members in any type of corporate structure?
Okay, so shareholders are for corporations. So I think about it like Walmart, right? Walmart is a gigantic corporation, but the system still works the same as if it was a smaller corporation. So these larger companies are usually C corps, and then smaller corporations are usually S corps. It's like not always the same, but that's kind of an easy way of thinking about it. So think of Walmart, giant corporation. They have shareholders, right? I want to have some stake in the ownership of Walmart, meaning if they make money, I make money. So I buy some stock in Walmart and become a shareholder. All right, when it comes to LLCs, it's a similar structure with different names. An LLC has members. All right, so if I want to lay out members in my LLC, if I open an LLC and I want to say there's more than one person owning this,
Mm-hmm.
I could say I got 10 different people at 10 different at equal shares. So I have 10 members that all own 10% of the company.
Bingo. Okay, so the biggest thing is LLCs have members, S corp have shareholders. Now, the reason why I like the LLC structure over the S corp is because in the event that there's everybody retweet and put in the chat charging order. Now, the reason why I'm telling you guys to put this in the chat right now is because you're going to go back and research these things. I am breaking it down shotgun style on how you can hire your kids. And then I'm going to wrap up how everything flows and show you how the money flows through everything. Okay. So a charging order essentially is a fine that a company will put on your LLC for like garnishing your wages. So if I had a company worth $1 million, let me ask y'all a question. Who can do some math for me? This is simple math. I'm gonna ask you guys a simple question. If my company was worth $1 million, $1 million, okay? Everybody put $1 million in the chat right now. Okay, the chat feature down at the bottom right-hand corner, put $1 million in there. And I want you to divide that by 100. What is that? 1 million divided by 100. How much money is that? Super easy math, y'all. Come on. Somebody got it.
10,000.
10K.
$10,000. That means that each share, if I had an S corp, will be worth $10,000. Do y'all understand that? Now, what would happen if I had an S corp and I had somebody fall in my property and they found out that I had my money going through an S corp, and then they sued my S corporation and they were awarded 51 shares of my company? Are they a majority owner or minority owner?
Majority.
So what can they do to me as an owner in the company? Vote me where?
Vote you out.
Bingo. So the reason why I'm telling you guys this stuff is because when I'm talking about this stuff, when you guys are setting up your why not? The reason why people like the S corp structure is because it gives you more tax benefits. But why not create the LLC and then have your tax attorney file the S corp filing for your taxes? But I like the LLC corporate structure better because it has the biggest corporate veil. Put corporate veil in the chat. Can somebody Google corporate veil and read the textbook definition for me? And the reason why I'm asking you guys to do this is because nobody on the app is talking about this stuff. They're just saying, get the property, put your kid's name on it, and then boom, you're good. Well, the problem with that is that when you have your kid's name on the property, they're subject to lawsuits. The second problem with you putting them on, entitled them to the property is that when you're accruing money, you have tax implications for that. Okay. And then the third and final thing, when you put it in their name, then they're also, when the property is also in their name, in the event that something happens to you or them, then it's still going to have to go to probate. Okay. In the event that change ownership, if there's any type of conflict. Okay. So this is the reason why you want to create the LLC, to operate the rental income for the business. Now, let me recap real quick, and let me give a quick room reset, guys. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon, wherever you're at. We are talking about the steps in order. Right now, we got to ask the question. She asked me a question, and I'm breaking it down shotgun style and explaining it, guys, on how to buy properties correctly for your children. Number one, get the property. Number two, put it in the trust. Take it out of that person's name. Number three, create the limited liability company so the money flows through the LLC, okay? Number four, create the operating agreement, okay, to operate the rental income for the business. Here's what's going to be in the operating agreement. The operating agreement is basically a document that says how the company operates. Very simple. Okay. Now, when you create the LLC, all you got to do is call a lawyer and tell them that you want what you want in your operating agreement. These are a couple of things that you want in your operating agreement. Number one, a mediation clause. What's a mediation clause? Can anybody tell me? Anybody tell me what a mediation clause is?
It lays out how any disputes or problems within operating the business will be solved.
Super
So
easy.
arbitration is like a third party, so that way nobody has to go to court immediately.
That's exactly right. Okay, and then you're gonna put a Anthony. I got no signal on the app. Can y'all still hear me?
Yeah, we got you.
Okay.
I'm hearing you.
Okay. So you have your operating agreement in there. Okay. And then Mark Days, can you you're on stage. Thank you for joining us. Can you talk about corporate veil, Mark Days, real quick? You want to do that?
Can you guys hear me? I hope you guys can hear me.
We can.
Okay, so the definition from what I read on Google, we know the corporate veil is just simply like that. A veil is something that covers. So it's the idea that shareholders, officers, and directors of a corporation will not be held personally liable for the actions of the corporation. Basically, in layman's terms, it's separating the actions of the individual or individuals of a corporation from the actions of the corporation, or separating the assets and the liabilities from one another. So you're not, I guess, commingling in sorts, whether that be in funds, whether it be in actions, or whether it be in ideas.
Bingo. Okay. So everything I'm telling you guys I'm putting this stuff out here for you guys to understand it. So now I have a mediation clause. I have an arbitration clause, which means that I'm going to arbitrate before I go to court, and it's provisions in place. Okay. I'm gonna have a mediation clause, an arbitration clause. Okay. And that's going to tell me everything in that corporate structure to make sure everything is good to go. So basically, let me give you an example of what an operating agreement would say. Okay. My kid is going to relinquish ownership. I'm going to relinquish ownership in the LLC, and my child will has to maintain a you can have an operating agreement. You can put a bunch of stuff in there. You can put my kid must be employed and have to take a drug test before selling the property. You can also put those provisions in the trust. You can put anything in the operating agreement. It's how the company is going to operate. So now I have the LLC set up, and then the last and final thing is now here's going to be the flow of the money. Okay. Step one, the money is going to get paid to the LLC. From the LLC, your kid is going to be an employee to the LLC. So the money flows through the LLC to your child as a beneficiary or an employee. Okay. So that's how I would structure everything. And then what's going to happen is that you're going to build the 3 C's for your kid. Put 3 C's in the chat, please. Again, I want everybody to retweet 3 C's: credit, collateral, and capital. So now your kid has credit because you're building a business line of credit for them because they're on the LLC. You take the LLC paperwork to the bank, open up a business checking and savings account, and then whatever money comes through the LLC from the rental income, you and your child can benefit from that. And that is how I would structure everything. Did you get all of that?
Yes, you mentioned there's certain things in the operating agreement, like the mediation clause. Are there any other things apart from that?
Well, I like mediation clause, arbitration clause, okay, in operating agreement, and then in that operating agreement, you can also you can put anything in there, but those are the 2 main things that I would put is a mediation and arbitration clause in there. And then in that operating agreement, it's going to tell who's responsible for what. You in that operating agreement, you can say my son's responsibility is to, I don't know, cut the grass. In the operating agreement, it is a defined roles and responsibilities of how the company is supposed to operate. Now, remember, I told you there's 2 things that print money. Things that print money. What are they? Can y'all remember what the 2 things that print money are? LLC and a piece of what? Real estate. Now, let me ask you this question, Andrea. If you was to perish, does your kid still own the property? Does the property still exist?
Yes.
Does the LLC still exist?
Yes.
Yes. So remember, the LLC and the property is evergreen. Once you pass away, that company will still continue to operate and print money infinite as long as you have tenants in that property. Did I give you some gems today?
Yes, thank you. Awesome. It's basically the entire blueprint. So really appreciate it.
Hey, Tony, is there a
Outstanding.
number 5
Does
to that
anybody have any
list?
value to add or any questions about what I talked about just now? Anybody have any questions on Twitter, YouTube, or Clubhouse before I do a quick room reset?
Tony, is there a number 5 to that list?
HK, somebody has a hot mic. Who's that with a hot mic? I cannot see. Moz, y'all can check and see who has a hot mic. I appreciate it. Okay, so is there number 5? What would be number 5?
For the list, there like you went through number 1, 2, 3, 4. At 4, you left off was creating an operating agreement. I was just asking, is there a number 5?
Oh, yes. Number 5. I forgot. You're right. My bad. Okay. Number 5 is when you get the income to the property. Okay. This is the 5th and final step. I almost forgot. Thank you for reminding me, HK. Number 5, what you're also going to do is I suggest setting up either pension plans for your kid, or you're going to put them into a couple of things. If they're, I'm going to put these in the chat. Okay. I'm going to type them. And you guys are going to research these on your own. Okay. UTMA. Okay. That's number 1. UTMA, a 529, a Coverdale. Okay. A custodial Roth. Okay. Custodial Roth, or let me see. UTMA 529 Coverdale, custodial Roth. There's one more, man. And I don't know why I'm drawing a blank. There's one more. Let me, okay. So I put those in the chat. Okay. So I would set up these accounts, and the money that I get, if I don't need it, I would put them in these accounts. Let me talk about the UTMA and the Coverdale account. Okay. The UTMA is a savings account on steroids. If he's 18 years old, you could start to fund that thing and it can grow. So you guys are never going to save your way to $1 million. Okay. You can only invest your way to $1 million. So when you get that money into the account, right after I set up the business checking and savings account, okay, and you pay your kid from the kid gets paid from the LLC from the rental income. Okay, so again, let me recap this so you guys got it. The money goes into the LLC. Okay, the LLC is just a business. That's a business structure that is operating the rental business. That's all it is. Then the money goes into paying your child as an employee to the LLC. Okay. So from there, when the money comes in, if the kid doesn't need the money, you're trying to build wealth. Why not invest that money that's coming in from the rental property into investment accounts that's going to grow over time? UTM and Coverdale are ESAs. Those are called ESAs. Everybody put ESA in the chat. Those are education savings accounts. Okay. No, not the 529 and the Coverdale are ESAs. The UTMA and the custodial Roth are accounts that are on steroids for you guys. I don't have enough time to cover those, but you guys are going to click the link. You guys are going to look up UTMA, 529 Coverdale, and custodial Roth and see which one works best for you. My 2 favorite accounts are the UTMA and the 529 account. And the reason why I like those 2 accounts better than any other account is because the 529 account is for college, right? So you can actually start putting money in to an account to save. You can use that for room and board and everything else to avoid student loan debt. And I like the UTMA account better than the custodial Roth because I can put $35,000 in there, tax deferred, with no tax implications. Okay. So any questions or comments? Thank you, Catherine, for putting that in the chat. Did I pour value into you? And thank you for asking that question. And Ian is going to give you guys the 4 states that you guys can set up single member LLCs for your children. That means that you can set up an LLC for your child, okay, without having to, not having to be in there, okay? All right, so any questions or comments? Andrea, I'm telling you, you guys got to come around. Put a fire emoji in the chat if you guys enjoyed what I just talked about, because I think that, showing you the roadmap and me talking about it right off of the dome is how we rock out. And Ian just put the 4 states, California, Delaware, Ohio, and Wyoming. And we will talk about how you guys could set up, you could set up that LLC, what you need to set that LLC up, that single member LLC for your kid, or you could do a joint member LLC where it's you and your kid on the LLC as well. Andrea, are you cool?
Yes, I am. So, just one final question because you just mentioned it. Joint. What are the benefits, like single member, joint member LLC for this specific scenario? Is it just like, do I trust my kid enough, or like, should I put myself on there as well? What are like the benefits or drawbacks?
Great question. What did I tell you to put your property in? And give me the steps. Give me the first steps.
Trust.
Bingo.
Trust.
Bingo. 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 So remember, okay, the LLC is just that's just a corporate structure that is establishing the 3 C's for your kid: credit, collateral, and capital. The reason why, and for those of you, I will repeat the question because I'm live on Twitter. She asked me, what are the benefits of, what if my kid becomes a dirtbag? I need to make sure I can trust him, right? And then you also asked, what are the benefits? How can I protect myself? Well, in the trust, you can put provisions in there to make sure that your kid, whatever you put in the trust is what's going to happen. The trust supersedes the LLC operating agreement. So that means that you could say, my son, has to take a drug test before he sells this property. My son has to maintain a 3.0 in order to get money from the property. Okay. You can put all types of stuff in that provision, and hopefully we're important to you. If you guys are enjoying the conversation, put a fire emoji in the chat because we're gonna continue to rock out. Welcome to the Win in Real Estate House. Today we're giving strategies. Thank you. I see. Let me give Twitter some love, man, because we've been rocking out on Clubhouse. D12, Andrea Phoenix, Storm, Actual, Mel. I'm going to invite you guys to speak. Jeffrey, if you guys have questions, we're going to invite you to speak. I see D12 on Twitter Spaces. Thank you for joining us. What question do you have, and how can we help you win in real estate today? D12 on Twitter. Okay. All right. D12 will come. Okay, I see you. What question do you have, brother? Go ahead. Jump in.
Hello.
Yes, we can hear you. What's your question? Okay, all right. We'll come back to you, D12, because
boy, trying to figure out which way to turn. Sound like going left or right. I don't know.
That blinker must have got the O's on it or something. That was a loud blinker, man.
I don't know. That blinker's got a pretty good groove to it, though.
I know, for real.
Yeah, it does. It was a nice little tick-tock to it. Little metronome vibe.
All right.
Hey, my bad.
That's Bruno. Bruno, that was your blinker?
That was you, Bruno. What's up with you, man?
I was like, what are we talking about? I'm turning 2. What's happening? Is it a coincidence?
Yeah, his brother done retired and lost his way, man. Come on, man.
I love it, man. Now, brother Mark Days, can you tell the people who you are and what you do, man? Thank you for coming to the space and supporting us.
Mark Days.
Of course, I'm always going to support. My name is Mark Days. I'm an entrepreneur based out of Florida. Just here learning, here supporting my brother Anthony Glenn II. We call him AG2, Stack Pack Wheels Up Gang. You know how we get down. So, I'm here supporting, representing. I own a company, Coffee Mobile. We recycle electronics, put you in the mind of maybe a Gazelle, Eco ATM. We're on that type of wave. And that's pretty much it. I don't want to take up too much time, man. I'm here to learn mainly, man. I got to get my kids right, man.
Talk about the legendary record, Mark. What happened to what was going on with the Creed record, bro? Talk about the record.
Oh, man, it's out there, man. It's out. Matter of fact, Stack Pack, I don't want to derail the room with this subject matter. I'm about to send you a picture of this check I just got from Sound Exchange. It's not a whole bunch of money, but, you got to make your money off of music, Tony, man. I'm out here. We getting to it, man.
To the bag, man. You know what I'm saying?
What we doing the bag? What we doing the room about that, Tony?
Look, I don't even know. Look, I got bro on here. That was supposed to be a gunshot. Let me see. There.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah,
man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Stop playing with me, AG. Stop playing, man. I'm an OG at this. You know I'm an OG, man.
I need to get listen, man. I need to get some thugs, man. Y'all got me in the suburbs, man. I got a revolver over here. Y'all got a machine gun, man.
Try to tell you, Jack, man. I just bombed him. Stop it. Let's go, dog.
Oh, Mark about to bring it back.
Hey, let's get back to the program.
That's
My bad, Tony. You know we like the clown, man. You know we like to bring that energy, bro.
So check this out, man. So for those of you who don't know, man, these are my friends. Listen, today is about accountability. Put a 1 in the chat if you like that strategy that we talked about for the kids. If she follows this strategy, let me tell y'all how much money she will have. In 15 years, her kid will have $600,000 in an account if she utilizes that strategy. If she buys a $50,000 property for her son, and that property is getting $1,650 a month, her kid would have $600,000 in a savings account to start their wealth. Okay, so and Mark, can you do me a favor? Also, can you put your Coffee Mobile in the chat, please, so people can get some recognition on that. Same with you, Stack Pack. I want to put your business also in there, guys. If you're trying to get your social media heavy, this is the guy, man. He gave me a lot of game, and that's the reason why I got all of this stuff set up. And shout out to my staff as well, the people that are behind the scenes. Alexis and my brother Anthony Perez that has set up all of this stuff for us so we can be on all of these social media platforms at one time. So now, does anybody have any questions or comment before we move on? HK, CC, HK, you got a question? Go ahead, jump in, brother.
No,
Hey, I was just gonna add value to what you said, but Catherine was gonna go first because she chimed in.
Okay,
I'm
Catherine, go
sorry.
jump in.
Sorry, I missed you. I missed the part you said. If she did what for her child, she'll have 600. What did I miss that part?
If she bought a property for $50,000 cash, and she utilizes this strategy and she invests the money into the accounts that I put in there. The S&P 500 is projected in the last 10 years, it's done anywhere from 8 to 10%. On the low end, at 8 to 12%. On the low end, if she invests that money into an account that's $1,650, okay, her child will have $615,000 in an account if she invests all of that money into the money. And I'll show you guys. Put a 1 in the chat if you guys want me to show you at the end. But I want to make sure we run through the questions so that her kid will have 600,000. My child will have, both my kids will have $600,000 when they get ready to go to school, because I bought property and leveraged Section 8 to pay the money, invest the money into savings, robust savings plans for my children. The 529 and the UTMA, they'll have $600,000 going into college at 19. Now, am I giving them that money? Hell no. But my kid can buy a property near the college institution and rent out the rooms, put twin beds in the bedrooms, and then rent the rooms out below market value. Okay. Now my kid has 2 businesses: the property that I bought for them, and then they also have the additional business. So these strategies that we're talking to you guys about, this is how you make money, guys. And if they're not if you're in rooms and they're not rocking out like this, man, y'all are losing, man, when y'all can be winning over here in the winning real estate room. Jack, let's go. All right. So let's get back to the conversation. Who else? Now I need 5 people to raise their hand, because I'm going to give y'all another chicken nugget for you guys. I need 5 people in the listening lounge to raise their hand, and I'm going to give y'all more nuggets that you guys could leverage to win in 2024. Who else has a question? I need 5 people. While we're doing that, we're going to do questions. And guys, above my head, Ian is going to post a link. Okay. He's going to post a link on how to set up everything. So if you guys can't find it on Clubhouse, we're going to put the social media link at the very top, so you guys could actually click on the YouTube channel and go step by step. I break it down even further, the accounts, okay? And we'll post that link at the top. Who has questions or comments that they'd like to propose to the room?
Tony, I have one. Just a comment. I just wanted to add value and say to everybody, I'm currently in the middle of the process.
HK, we lost you, brother. Your signal?
Of getting a property right now, multifamily, and I've been tremendously knowledgeable in helping out. Can you guys hear me?
You're breaking up a little bit, but we can hear you now. Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Okay. Any HK? Okay, we'll come
Just a
back.
little delay.
Okay. Let HK, I'm gonna move you down and come back up. Okay, come back up because you're breaking up bad, man. Okay. Anybody else want to jump in? Somebody invite moderators if y'all can invite HK back up.
Real quick, Tony, I'm gonna jump in because I got 5 minutes. I gotta start the room at 2. I gotta support somebody in the community. But Tony, I just want to say this was a fire room, bro. You did nothing but, taught us the real estate strategies, laid it down. The team came in back to back. It's about the value and who you surround yourself with. So definitely, Tony's gonna be with somebody that you want to surround yourself for 2024 and beyond. If you guys are just meeting them now, but you should always surround yourself with great leaders and great individuals that want to see you win from a powerful place. So Tony, keep rocking, man. Winning real estate. Can't wait to see the next room too, and can't wait for you to do money secrets or anything part 2 in my club. And expect to see Mark coming in there too. We'll do a room with Mark that'll be coming real soon, and we'll just do a room with a bunch of family that comes in and helps us support. So love you, Tony. Got your back, bro. Great room today. I'll be out in like 5 minutes.
And I'll pull up, man. I'll pop in, man. I got the people here, so we got some work to do, but I got you. Indy, I see you on Facebook. Thank you for checking in, and thank you for popping in. Stack, it's always an honor to have you here. Brother Davis, I see that you have you flash your mic. Did you have a question? Ishman Davis. Okay, all right. Let's do a quick room reset. You guys are in the Winning Real Estate House. Okay, shout out to everybody. If you guys are on Twitter Spaces, we really appreciate you guys joining. Jeffrey, we're trying to bring you up. Ian, if you could see if you can bring him up, and then also I don't see the YouTube channel pinned at the top of Twitter, so that needs to happen right away. Okay, guys, I am live on you.
Yeah, I need to be a speaker.
Oh, you're a co-host, bro. It says co-host. Okay, let me.
I can't post it unless I'm a speaker also.
Come out and come back in, bro.
Yep.
Okay. All right. So, who has a question or comment that they'd like to propose to the room? HK, are you back? Okay. Now, here's a question. Would this be a revocable or irrevocable trust? How to choose? That's an attorney question, but let me tell you the difference. Here's a question that they had in the chat. Would it be a revocable or irrevocable trust? Let me explain. The one that's the longest is the hardest to change. Irrevocable. Revocable means that it can change, but the irrevocable trust becomes the revocable, the one that can be changed, becomes irrevocable once you die. Okay. So essentially, one has a lot more provisions. Okay. The only problem with the irrevocable trust is that if you have an irrevocable trust, once you put stuff in there, it's going to take an attorney and the beneficiaries to make changes to it once you put stuff in there. The revocable trust means that you can change it while you move stuff around. However, you get the most tax benefits from having the irrevocable trust, the hardest one. So that's the question. And for those of you who have questions about this stuff, okay, I want you guys, I'm putting a number in the chat. 760-385-8211. Text 760-385-8211. Text WIN to that number. And then you can set up a strategy session with us to get on your journey to getting the piece of real estate that you're supposed to get. 760-385-8211. Okay. All right. So if you guys are looking to win in real estate, text that number because HK committed himself to going through this journey. My brother that's on stage right now is on his 3rd property. Kyler, are you here? Brother Kyler? Kyler Bear. Okay, so let me tell you about Kyler. Kyler listened to us rock out on a teaching environment. He actually invested in a property. He sold the property. He made close to $200,000 for selling that property. I think it was $180,000. Okay, he bought another property and he's about to sell this one and buy another one. Okay. So for those of you who are, here, we like receipts. We want to be able to, the best way for you guys to be able to win is that we got to have receipts for you guys to get in here and actually get to the bag in real estate. Now I'm inviting people on Twitter Spaces. If you guys have questions or if you have comments that you want to ask, we're inviting you guys to come up and ask as many questions as you possibly want to ask. Are there any questions or comments that you guys would like to ask on stage right now? Anybody have any questions?
Hey Tony, I just have one question because I know a lot of people, especially parents, have this question.
Sure.
What if my child is like 18 or 16, and how do I accelerate growth? Maybe I didn't do it when they were young, 9 or 10, you know, and I want to put them in a good position in 5 years. So what is like the best method to like reap the most reward for your child in a shorter period of time?
I gave you the blueprint, sister.
Amen. Okay.
I gave you the multi-million-dollar blueprint. Let me break down what I gave you today. I taught
Hmm.
you how to buy the property. I told you how to protect the property. I told you how to build business credit. I told you how to protect the property with setting up the corporate structure. I taught you how to give you the 3 C's: credit, collateral, and capital for your children, right? And then I also gave you accounts so your money can grow. There's no other. I guarantee you, anybody can tell you. I don't care what anybody says. There's no better way than what I just talked about in regard to how to build wealth for your kids. I gave you all of the accounts. Now, I gave you the gasoline. Okay, I can't drive the car for you. Okay, so what I
Hmm.
gave you today was a master class on how to build wealth for your children. Okay, so UTMA 529 Coverdale and Custodial Roth. Those are the accounts that you can look into, and the LLC. The LLC is essential also because that company. Now think about this. Let's paint a picture. All right. Let me give you an example of something that I have done. Okay. So when you do this strategy, okay, I'm in my office right now, and for those of you, can y'all do me a favor? I want to pass the mic around. Ian, are you here?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, can you do me a favor right now? I want you to CC Karen, Noah, Anthony, Daryl, Maria, Ishman, Daniel, everybody in the listening lounge. I want you to raise your hand and get on stage right now because listen, guys, you sitting in the audience, that means that you're just taking notes. So that means you understand everything that I'm talking about. You coming on stage is I need people who are trying to win. Okay. You're not winning in the listening lounge. I want you to win on stage. So raise your hand, get on stage and ask your question. Okay. And I want you to the reason why I want you on stage, I want everybody on stage. I want you guys to come up on stage and ask your question, guys, because I'm telling you, this is how I built the real estate empire. Okay. Let me tell you what we've done. We built an 8-figure business. We have 7 companies that we've created from scratch. Let me tell you what they are: the Liberty Group, Winning Real Estate Mentoring and Coaching, the YouTube channel, the Glenn Group, which is a conglomerate where I buy properties, the mortgage company, TC Me, which is a transaction coordinator company. All of these companies are out here. I'm telling you guys how to do it and hire your kids and avoid taxes. Okay, Ian, can you tell the people why a corporate structure and why setting up a corporate structure and buying real estate is important to taxes, and also um, um, why making them employees? Can you talk about the publication 560 in the IRS code? Can you cover that?
Yeah.
Pulling up this paperwork.
I got you. Okay, so publication 560, really, really beneficial thing to study. And what it does is it lays out all the different upper limits of what you can put into for retirement funds as a business owner. So as a business owner, you yourself can become an employee, right? So what this gives you as a business owner is an advantage to utilize the income that your company generates to contribute to your employees' pension plans. So if you, in case you missed what I was just saying, if you are an employee to your company can contribute to your pension plan. So what you're using company funds to add to your retirements, right? And this is all stuff that is like laid out in the tax code, so that way companies can incentivize their employees in retirement funds, right? So this is a way for you to utilize your company's money that it generated before you calculate your profits to contribute to your pension plans, because a lot of people, what they do is they pay taxes and then they take their post tax income and then contribute to pension plans. Whereas a business owner, if you look up publication 560, you get the chance to contribute pre-tax funds from your business into your retirement fund as an employee to your company. Who
Bingo.
has questions about that?
Now, who are the employees to your company? Think about that. You created the LLC. Who are the employees? Come on, y'all. Take a shot at it, man. We got a lot of people on stage. Who are the employees?
Yourself,
Yourself,
your whoever.
yourself and your kid. Okay. Put a 1 in the chat if your parents are still alive. Retweet 1 in the chat if your parents are still alive. Okay. I want you guys to do that. I want you guys to retweet the space. Shout out to all of the people that are on Twitter Spaces. Thank you for coming in. We're talking about 2024 winning real estate strategies. Think about this. If your parents are still alive, okay, why not make them members in your LLC and then compensate them? Okay. Consulting. Granny can consult. Now, guess what? That money, instead of writing them a check or giving them money, that goes down as an expense to your company. Now, what happens now? Watch, I'm going to drop a nugget right now. Put a 1 in the chat if you want a nugget right now, because I'm about to drop a big one. All right. This is a big one. All right. Think about this, right? If my mom is in my company, my grandmother's in my company, and I decide to fly them out here for a business meeting during the holidays, what is that considered if I thoroughly document it?
An expense.
A business expense, guys. Y'all are out here paying, people have property, and it doesn't take much to own a property. I mean, it doesn't take a whole lot. Like, people have been taking advantage of these things. This is how Trump stays rich, guys. He's utilizing the IRS codes and the law of depreciation to lower his taxable income. I'm giving y'all the blueprint. Why write off everything when you can invest in your retirement? Let me give y'all these numbers real quick so you guys got this. All right, let me paint this picture. Right now, put these numbers in the chat. Let's just add this up. I want everybody to put this. I want y'all to tweet this right now, and I want you to put it in the chat so you guys are listening to what I am saying. 12,000. These are the numbers I want y'all to put. $12,950. Okay, plus $66,000 plus $22,500 plus let's just say plus $265,000. Okay, plus $14,000. Add that up for me. Okay, let me give you these numbers again. I'll put them in the chat. Can somebody add these up for me? And I'm going to tell you what these numbers mean right now, okay? And shout out to David Hill that's in the building, man. Shout out to David that's on Twitter Spaces. David, come on up, man. Jeffrey, I'm trying to invite you. You might have to drop back down and come back up. Okay, I'm adding you guys as a speakers, okay? Jeffrey, did you have a question or a comment that you'd like to propose to the stage? Jeffrey, thank you for joining us on Twitter Spaces.
Hey, can you hear me?
We can hear you loud and clear, brother.
Really, my question was, I was wondering what you thought about short-term rentals and short-term rentals specifically over 2024.
Okay, great question. Short-term rentals. If you're going to get a short-term rental, this is my advice to you. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Underwrite the property or invest in the property as a long-term rental. Do not depend on short-term rental income. Do you know why I'm telling you that?
Long term's long term, I guess.
Who do you think is going to win? The stakeholders and Hilton and all of that other stuff, or Airbnb that's new? Old money is always going to trump and prevail. Right now, you got a lot of people that are losing their properties right now because they underwritten or bought properties that they for short-term rental. Your best advice is to understand how to get the property and have the property underwritten as a long-term rental. Do not buy, listen to me, Write this in the chat. Do not buy a property depending on short-term rental income. Because if you get that property and then you're planning on, you get that note and then you're interdependent on that short-term rental that is not stable, anything can happen. Okay? All right. That would be my advice to you. If you're going to buy it, do it conservatively and make sure you do thorough underwriting and underwrite the property as with putting a normal tenant in the property versus short-term rental.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, that makes sense.
Okay. So, because right now people are losing their, there was a lady on stage yesterday. Put a 1 in the chat if you heard me in the mortgage syndicate yesterday. There was a lady that came on stage and she underwritten, she had a property that she bought. Ian and I talked to this lady. Ian, are you here? Can you talk about that lady that with the short-term rental, the problem that she had?
Oh yeah. So yeah, so this is precisely the problem that we talked about. So she underwrote the property, meaning, okay, so in case y'all don't know what underwriting is, that's when like you're doing your research and you're crunching your numbers to see if this investment property is going to be worthwhile or if it's going to produce any kind of income or profit for you in the future. But regardless, she underwrote the property, meaning that she did her research on what kind of income the property will generate as a short-term rental. All right, so a short-term rental kind of operates like a hotel, right? You can charge more per night, but you don't get the consistency of the income. So what happens is she made her projections off of short-term rental income, right? So short-term rental income's like an Airbnb, right? You think you're going to get $500-$600 a night, whereas if you do long-term rental, meaning a lease, right, you might get maybe $2-3 grand a month, right? So what we're saying is, if you're going to knock down a property, try to project and underwrite a property relative to what you can get as a long-term rental, right? So if that property can only generate $2 grand a month in rent, then do all your math and figuring and make your offer relative to that number that you can afford. All right. So because what happened is she wrote a check for this house and thinking that she was going to be making $5 grand a month or whatever, and it turns out she overpaid for the property because she thought she was going to get more income. Not the case, right? So now she has to come out of pocket every single month because the max amount she can rent it for on the long term is not enough to cover her costs for the mortgage on that property. Those questions.
That's very good explanation. I think she was paying like $900 a month because the short-term regulation in that county disappeared. She had to refinance the property and she's still out of pocket $6,800 a month. I mean, a year, right? So even after her refinance, she was like $6,700 or $6,800, but she still has depreciation on her side and she has cash. But do not underwrite a property or do not do the math with short-term rental as your strategy, because you can find yourself in big trouble. Did I answer your question, brother Jeffrey? Okay, brother Jeffrey. Okay, all right, Ian. Make sure Jeffrey got that information. I wanted to make sure. It says the connection was lost for some reason. I don't know what's going on.
Tony, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, brother.
Okay, I just wanted to just kind of like backpedal a little bit. I was just trying to add value to what you were saying about the topic and all the gems you're dropping. I've been working with Tony and Ian these last few months, so I'm at the beginning stages of buying the property. Right now, I got to the point where I've already got pre-qual, and so now I'm out shopping. But what you were talking about today, and the question that came from Andrea, was like pinpoint perfect timing, because now that I'm looking and I'm shopping, I now have the blueprint to follow the next step in my process, and that's going to be to create the trust and then
Yes.
put my kids on it. So this is pinpoint perfect. I appreciate you guys talking about it, Andrea. Perfect question. And I just wanted to kind of just, drop my little nugget in there. And if you guys want to continue to follow along throughout this journey, I'll be popping in from time to time to just give updates about where I'm at, and all the praise going towards Ian, Tony, and the 10X vets. And I land.
And can you, and thank you, brother. Can you still hear me on Twitter Spaces, Jeff? I want to make sure you can hear me. Okay. Ian, can you make sure that you can hear me still on Twitter Spaces? Okay, because I got it disconnected.
I'll check on it right now.
Okay. All right. So let me keep rocking out, guys. Let me keep rocking out. Jeffrey, can you hear me? Jeff? Okay, I might have did something I wasn't supposed to. I'm over here. Jeff, you can hear me? All right, man. Let me get back to the conversation, guys. If you guys are enjoying the conversation, put a 1 in the chat. And guys, listen, let me put this number in the chat right now. Anthony, can you check and see if Twitter, you can hear me on there? Okay. So I want to make sure you guys can hear me still. Can you hear me? Okay, outstanding. I can hear him, but he cannot hear me. I can. Okay, let me see here. Maybe I did something. Did I unplug something over here? Can you help me out, brother? Look and see if it, I want to make sure you can hear me, Jeff, making sure you can hear me, Lima Charlie, loud and clear. Let me do a quick room reset, guys. 2024 winning real estate strategies. Let me tell you what we covered today. We talked about the creating trust for your child. We talked about the states that you can do it in. We talked about the 2 essential things that create value in, it says I can't hear you on Twitter Spaces. I don't know what's going on. Okay. We talked about, they said they can't hear me. All right. It says my voice is coming through. I don't know what's going on. All right. Let's keep rocking out. I can hear you on YouTube. Okay, Andrew, thank you for giving me that. YouTube, hopefully you guys can hear me. Guys, we are doing all of this stuff, man, because we're case testing which platform. We're trying to go live on all platforms and grow all platforms, guys. So if you guys can hear me, I really appreciate you guys pulling up. And let me continue to rock out, guys. Text 760-385-8211. Text WIN to 760-385-8211. Okay. And make sure that you guys, if you guys have any questions, okay, you can set up a strategy session with us. And guys, you can win in real estate by texting that number, and we can get on a strategy session with you. We have several people that are on stage right now that are actually went through the process and implemented these things that you guys can win. And Andrea was here yesterday, and she followed us over here today. We do these rooms every Tuesdays and Thursdays, 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And then we also 9:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And then we also go live on YouTube, Twitter, LinkedIn, and everywhere else. Okay, we do another space on Wednesday. We're guest mods in the Mortgage Syndicate, where we talk about these things. So let's get back to this conversation. Does anybody have any questions or comments that they would like to add, or any value to add to the conversation? HK, thank you for that testimony. It means a lot to us. You got your money, so you got the power. Okay, and I think you got a son, right? I think HK did tell us that he had a son. Noah, are you here? Noah Jackson?
Sorry about that. Yeah, I do have a son and a daughter.
Outstanding, brother. Well, you got the blueprint now. You know exactly what you need to do. Congratulations on that commitment. Who's committed to winning in real estate 2024? Okay. I text the number and I tweeted the number. Text WIN to 760-385-8211. Okay. And we will hop on a call with you and we'll talk about your personal scenario to where you can win. Now, we got a lot of people that's on stage. Who has a question? Anybody have any questions? Karen, are you here? Daryl, Ishman, Daniel, anybody on Twitter Spaces have a real estate question they'd like to propose? Out freaking standing. Okay. All right. So Daniel, are you here? Brother Daniel? Okay. Let me see. What question?
Tony, sorry.
You coming in, man, and you got to get rid of that T-Mobile sidekick, brother. We can't You coming in muffled, okay?
Yeah, where I am, the network is not good.
You in a bad location?
Can you hear me?
Any questions on YouTube? Andrew, anybody on YouTube have
I said I would like to talk to you.
Okay, come drop down and come back up, man. Clubhouse is tripping, man. We can barely hear you. Put a 1 in the chat if you guys hear me loud and clear. I want to make sure you guys can hear me. Good. Okay. Okay, great. We're gonna come back to let's go to MSB collection. MSB, how can we help you win today? What question do you have?
So what kind of property are they supposed to buy? I came later in the room.
What property you talking about? What is the best property to invest in? Is that your question? Okay, I think she might have swiped. Man, what's going on, man? The devil is trying to get at us, man. Okay, let me see.
In order to buy the $50,000 property, I mean, what type of property? I came in late in the room.
Okay, so I bought a property for 50 grand in Milwaukee. Okay, registered for Section 8. I get $1,650. I bought it off Clubhouse 2 years ago, and it's my daughter's property. But she has other properties. Both of them have a couple of properties, and it's their properties. And then I pay them. Okay, I pay them on payroll. Okay, now if you're here right now, I'm going to show you guys something. Click the link above my head. Okay, and I want you guys to get on my YouTube. The reason why I'm telling you guys this is because I pay my kids $12,950 for marketing in my company. Some of that money comes from real estate. Some of that money comes from they get on YouTube, Instagram, or whatever, and I pay them for that. And then the rental income goes to fund their accounts. I bought that property. I registered that property, and if you do the math, okay, I'm gonna ask you a question. Can you do me a favor? If you're still on stage, is she still here? I don't see her anymore. Okay, I think she might have swiped. But if you take, let's see here. Mark, are you here?
Yes, sir.
Can you do me a favor, a little math exercise, please? This is very simple, okay?
Okay.
All right, can you take $1,650 and multiply that times 12? Because I'm getting that stipend every month.
19.8.
Now, minus 10%. So take that, just minus 10 and the percent sign equals
17,820.
So that's my net profit. That means what I did is I just all my rental income minus the minus 10%, which is 8% for the property manager, 2% for incidentals for something that might happen to that property. I just wrote a check and paid cash for it, right? So now that number that you got right there, I want you to divide that number by 50 grand. What number do you get? Just divide it exactly in the calculator, exactly the way I'm telling you to do it. Asking you to do it. Sorry, not telling you. My bad. Asking, sir. Requesting. What number do you get? Okay, so I'll put it in the chat. 1650.
My bad. 0.3564. I thought I was off mute. 0.3564.
So that means I'm getting 35% return on my money from my initial investment. Where on earth are you going to get that type of return on a real estate on any investment that's going to guarantee you 33%? So that means that 2.5 years, I will repay the money that I invested in the real estate. The real estate asset is going to appreciate over time because the value is going to go up and the stipend is going to go up. Okay. So when I'm telling you guys this stuff, right. And remember, when my kid turns 18, 19 years old, they're still going to have the property. So what's going to happen? That property is going to continue to print money. And that's the reason why I tell you guys to get real estate. Get real estate in your empire. Okay. Any questions about that math strategy that I just talked about? And hopefully that sister that swiped out of the room, that will help answer the question. I like real estate and I like the corporate structure because both of those are the ones that print money. And then you're leveraging the real estate to actually build the credit for your company. And when the bank sees money coming in there every first, they're going to want to give you a business line of credit. Simple. It's not hard. It's very, very easy, guys. Any question? Anybody have any other questions?
Sorry, I missed everything you said.
Lord have mercy. Lord,
When I asked the
Hit the
question, he
replays.
answered.
Hit the replays.
help me, Jesus. Okay. Lord have mercy. Okay, MSB, are you with me? Okay.
I am.
All right.
I
Please,
was in the matrix earlier. I didn't hear nothing.
please do not. Please do me a favor. Please do not touch your T-Mobile sidekick when I am helping you with this strategy. Okay. All right. Here we go. I'm gonna run it back one more time. The $50,000 property that I bought. The answer to the short answer to your question is you get the property. You're gonna get the property that's gonna cash flow. Okay. Now, I'm gonna text. I'm gonna text D12. I'm trying to bring you up, man. I think you might have to come out and come back in. Okay, but here's the deal: you're gonna get a property to cash flow. I bought the property in Milwaukee. I got property in Tennessee for my kids, all types of other, different places. Just depends on where you feel comfortable with getting the property. But the fundamental thing is that when you get the money, where the money goes. And essentially, what we're doing is that we got the property, we put it in the trust, we created the corporate structure. From the corporate structure, we invest the money into college savings plans and accounts that grow the money. Okay, and listen, I'm gonna put a text. I'm gonna text. Now it sounds to me. Now, why are you asking this question? You're looking to invest in real estate for your family. You have a family. You have kids.
Yes,
How old are they?
and I just want the knowledge.
Okay, how old are the kids?
10 years old.
Okay, 10. My daughter is here. Okay. She has a property. They've had real estate since they were 3. Okay, both of them. My son and my daughter. So essentially what I did is I just leveraged the property to basically fund their college education. And then I got those properties and then the money just goes into into the accounts. You're going to have to listen to the replays or click the link above. Here's what I want you to do. Click the link above my head and subscribe to the YouTube channel. And then on live, I go through this step by step, and then you'll be able to listen to this instead of going on Clubhouse. You'll be able to listen to me now, guys. If you guys enjoy this conversation, put a 1 in the chat. Put a 1 in the chat if you guys learned something today that will help you. We talked about publication 560. We talked about strategies that you guys can leverage. Here's what I'm going to ask you guys to do. I am going to put I would like for you guys to click the link above my head and subscribe to the YouTube channel and put done in the chat so I know that you did it. Ian, the YouTube channel is still not above my head, brother, on Twitter.
Can you double check on Twitter and make me a speaker? I can't post it until I get to be a speaker, please.
That's weird, man, because you are a host. So I'm going to invite you. Okay, I'm going to invite you as a speaker. Okay, and then I'm going to make you a co-host. Okay, there you go. All right, I'm going to put the YouTube channel at the top, guys, so you guys have it. Okay, click on the link, and then this YouTube, if you guys enjoy this conversation, just leave a comment on YouTube so I know that you guys got it. And there's a couple of people I see. McGinna is on stage, Phoenix. Okay, if you guys enjoyed this conversation, please retweet the space. We will be doing these. I have a question. Cheryl Young, what question do you have? Type your question in the chat. What question do you have on YouTube? Okay, what's your question? Okay. Anybody have any questions on stage? I see a couple of people that joined us. Chuck, do you have a question or comment? Or Sham, do you have a question or comment that you'd like to ask?
No, sir, Anthony. I'm just listening. Thank you for all the information. It's very informative.
Hey, no, this is Chuck. Came to class late, but
Yeah, Anthony, can you hear me? This is D12.
D12. Let me go to Chuck. Let me go to Chuck, and then I got you next. D12. Chuck, what question do you have?
No worries.
no, I didn't have a question. I'm just saying I just came in late, so I'll check the replays.
Out freaking standing. Now, I only see one done in the chat, guys. We got 30 people here. I need y'all to click the link above my head and subscribe to the SITREP YouTube channel. I break down a trust. everything that you need to know about a trust. I break down a strategy on how to become an investor with your kids. We walk you through it step by step and give you where to find it in the IRS code, guys. Listen, if you want to know how to do that stuff, it is above my head. You will see the YouTube. Subscribe to the YouTube and put done, retweet done, or put done in the chat. This is where the stuff lives evergreen. So instead of trying to find out where to find it on Clubhouse, all you have to do is go to the YouTube channel and go back and listen to the replays, okay? And take notes. Okay, so Cheryl says, what I want info on your veterans program. Okay, let me talk about the veteran program that we have. Okay, number one, we have the VA Loan Masterclass that we do virtual every month this year, every third Saturday. Okay, that's going to be we're going to be putting that on the YouTube channel on where to find it and in our Facebook group. We also have the Veteran Wealth Formula, where we walk you through partnering with a veteran and buying multi-units with no money down. That's called the Veteran Wealth Formula. That's our partnership with Grant and Elena Cardone that we have. And I'll put information in the chat, and I'll put this in the chat. So you guys just text 760. Okay, I'm gonna put it in the chat so you guys got it. 760. Okay, 385. 8211. Okay. That's our veteran text win to that number. And then our staff will reach out to you guys. And if you guys want to know about the veteran program, you can buy multi-units, do 100% cash out refinance, and the property doesn't have to appraise if the value goes down. After 210 days after your first month payment, you can take all of the cash out and reinvest. So that's our partnership with Grant and Elena. And if you guys want to know more information about that, text win to that number, and then my staff will be giving you a call. And then also we have a military spouse program to where if you know any military spouses that are looking to get into business, we help them. There's programs out there and grants that we have available through our nonprofit that we have. And if you guys want to know more about that information, because there's military spouses are 30% lower on unemployment than regular people, because they have to move around. Okay. So we have programs to get military spouses and enhance their ability to increase their income by becoming business owners. And last but not least, the last and final thing that we have, the last veteran program that we have, okay, is if you're a real estate professional and you're looking to partner with us and help us build this empire, you can become a certified ambassador to our program and actually learn how to master the VA loan and be an advocate for us, and then get revenue and compensated from that. So those are the veteran programs that we have. If you guys are interested in that, 760-385-8211, just text WIN to that number, and then you can get on a strategy session on how we can do that. And also, if you guys are in here and you're looking to invest in real estate, listen, there's no excuses. The information is out there, okay? We just told you that there's 3.5 million housing shortage. It's going to take 10 years to catch back up with that. If you're listening to me, we're going to be doing these spaces on a regular basis, and then we're going to try to grow this space until everybody knows that we're here. And we didn't get here by trial and error. We got here by doing the work. And if you listen to me before we shut down. And then I'm going to go back to I forgot. We got one more person that had a question. D12, what's your question, brother? How can we help you win, D12? D12 on Twitter Spaces.
You hear me?
We can hear you loud and clear, brother.
I had a few questions for you, but it sounds
no. Rock out, man.
Question.
Rock out. What question do you have? We want to make sure everybody gets heard today.
Yeah, no worries. I know that you mentioned Section 8 and then also picking up properties for $50,000. What locations are you focusing on that you can pick up at $50,000 but turn it for $1,400 to $1,500 on Section 8?
Well, that property that I have is paying that money is in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Okay, and then also area that I will be looking in, if you can get a property, a tax sale or something like that in Jacksonville. That's a hot area that's up and coming, Jacksonville. But I like putting all of my properties near military installations. Does anybody know why I like investing near military installations?
Because they can pay your rent, and it's a high housing allowance. So sorry.
Military people do not get fired. They get paid on the 1st and the 15th, and it's tax-free income.
But that would be regular market though, right? For Section 8, that's not relevant.
It depends, right? It just depends. You can register any property for Section 8 if the homeowners association allows it.
Right. Got it.
Okay, so and if you want more information, or if you want, I put the number in, I retweeted the number down in there, 760-385-8211. And we'll talk to you about those locations. Where are you located at?
I'm in California.
What part?
Los Angeles County, Lancaster, Palmdale.
You're right down the street from us. We're in San Diego, brother. We're in California.
Oh, nice. Okay, cool.
So here's the deal. Once you get your investment property, you got to promise me one thing. Are you ready for this commitment?
Shoot it.
You're going to get on our podcast and talk about the process, because we're going to help you get that next property. Do you own property now?
I do. I have 3 units at the moment. Not enough.
Now, let me ask you a question. Can I give a quick dive since you asked that question? I like people who ask questions, because the reason why we do this stuff is because if we can give you one thing that can change everything to your financial stability, we're going to give it to you. Okay. So you have 3 properties. Are they all single family homes or multi-units?
Single family.
Have you ever heard of a portfolio loan?
I have, yes.
Okay. What about, have you done a HELOC?
I've done one, but I cash out and find it before the rates went up.
Now watch this. Okay. Now, how do you have those properties entitled?
Well, that's the thing. I didn't get it all transferred somewhere else under my personal name. So I'm working on wanting to put it in the LLC.
No.
Get your feedback.
Do not put the properties in the LLC. Don't do that. Put the property in the trust and have the LLC operate the business.
That's a little confused, because I was told that I have personal assets. The trust, well, someone tries to sue me, technically, because the trust owns those pieces plus all my personal assets. They can go after all the other assets as well.
No. What? No. That's not true. Okay. So once you put the property in a trust, you get a little bit of protection. Okay. So, and then once you operate the business, they're not going to be able to find it. Right. So the whole thing with putting the property in a trust is that it for one, in the event that something happens to you, it avoids probate. Okay. So that's the biggest thing. Okay. So being able to avoid probate, man, if y'all can see, click the link above my head right now and look at my YouTube channel, man. Look at my dog, man. My dog is all up in the all up in the videos, you know. I got my dog in here, man. Usually my dog is put up, man. My kids done let the dog out, man. My vicious pit bull, okay? So he's probably going to lick his butt, right, while he's on my YouTube live. All right. So check this out. Once you put the property in the trust and you have the corporate structure operating the businesses, now how many LLCs do you have operating those properties? Are they coming in your name?
It's coming in my name at the moment. I have one LLC I was going to move all of the properties to.
No. Okay, D12. Let me rock out with you for a minute, okay? Number one, always have separate LLCs running each individual property. This is just my advice. You don't have to take my advice, but I'm going to tell you why. If you have all of the money going into one LLC and then property one, you have litigation, then what's subject to that litigation? All of the revenue that you have in the assets. There you go. Yeah. You always separate your assets and put each individual property have its own limited liability company. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But now you got to pay $800 in franchise fees plus all the other taxes for each one. There's not much that they can go after, right?
But still, you're paying the money. But then think about this though. It's a business expense. It's a tax write-off.
Yeah.
Right.
Sure. Okay.
I would rather have a corporate veil and then have different LLCs. So if I get a charging order issued against me, then that limited liability company only is associated with that one property. And then when they look a little bit deeper, you know, the trust owns the property. I don't own them.
Got it.
You get what I'm saying? So let me tell you the steps real quick. Yeah. So you got it. You got a pen? I want you to write this down. And I'm glad that you asked this question, guys. And listen to what I'm about to say. Put a 1 in the chat if you guys understood what I just said. Put a 2, tweet a 2 if you want me to explain it a little further. Put a 1 in the chat if you understood what I said. Put a 2 if you want me to explain it a little bit more in depth. Nelson Apega in the building, man. Thank you, Nelson, for pulling up, brother. I appreciate you. This means a lot. Thank you for pulling up. It really, really means a lot for you supporting me today. Thank you. Okay. All right, so let me explain this real quick so you got this strategy. Okay, D12, you got a pen? Okay.
I'll be ready to type away.
Okay, step 1, okay, create the trust. Step 2, put all of the properties in the trust. Step 3, create a corporate structure, okay, a corporate structure for each individual property. Okay, LLC 1, 2, and 3. The rental income is going to come into the LLC. The LLC is then going to pay you, okay, as an employee to the company. The next step is you're going to create a holding company to operate all 3 businesses. That is how I would have everything set up, okay? Trust, holding company, LLC, the holding company operates the business. The holding company now is the person who is operating the business. And then now you have layers of protection that protect you against litigation. Because it's going to be hard to find people. So because when they look you up, the holding company, listen to me, the holding company, what did I say? The holding company is going to be the beneficiary.
Got it.
Okay. Just listen to what I'm saying. So now what that does is now that when they look up who owns the property is going to say trust. And then each individual LLC is going to be getting the rental income. And then the holding company is going to be operating the business. So when they start looking stuff up, then now you have a corporate veil. Now you're going to research the definition of people. For those of you who don't understand that stuff, you're going to look up holding companies and LLCs and see how they operate. The reason why you separate all of the LLCs and you have each individual LLC is because if somebody sues property 1, then you now have all of your assets tied up. And then when they go look you up or they try to pierce your corporate veil, you got a holding company operating those companies. And then in the event that something happens to you or you perish, then you can have strict provisions within the trust on who's going to own those properties. Did I answer your question?
Yeah. Yes. Can I ask a follow-up question for clarity?
Yeah. Go ahead.
So I know you said first step 1 is create the trust and then move all the properties to the trust.
Yes.
So that means technically the title will be under the trust name.
That is correct.
But okay, but I thought we're creating an LLC. So would the title have to be owned by the LLC?
No, the LLC, the limited liability companies are going to go in the trust. So when you set your trust, did it click for you now? It clicked?
Yep.
Bingo.
So
okay.
It's gonna be separate from the title. Okay.
There you go. So when you put properties in a trust and that trust owns it, you're only creating the LLC to operate or to filter the money through for another layer of corporate veil. So when the money goes into the LLC, you're an employee to the LLC. You don't own it. So that means that each individual LLC is good. You got the holding company above the LLCs, and then you have everything in the trust. All of the corporate structures are in the trust.
So in the event of a lawsuit, if it sues me, all it can sue me on is based on what the LLC owns, and never be able to obtain the property. The property is owned by the trust itself.
Well, the LLC is operating the property. So when they go to litigate or something like that, and they see the money is going through a LLC, what typically happens when they sue you, they're going to issue a charging order. Okay, Ian, are you here?
Yeah, I'm over here on Twitter.
Explain the charging order again. Can you tell what a charging order is real quick? Put charging order, tweet charging order right now, guys. And this terminology and stuff like that we're telling you guys, nobody's talking about it, right? So I'm super excited to have, everybody here today. If you guys have questions, raise your hand. We're going to continue to rock out because we got a big Twitter stage right now. If you have questions, come on stage. Okay. And do me a favor, guys. I'm new to Twitter, so retweet the space. Shout out to Nelson and Jonathan Bing and Ian for rocking out with us. And D12, thank you for your question. Retweet this space because we're going to be doing these rooms every Tuesdays and Thursdays and growing on Twitter Spaces. And then, there's going to be another platform coming out soon, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm ready for it. Let's go. Any questions? Any comments? Go ahead, Ian. Talk about the charging order real quick.
Okay, so charging order. Okay, this is why an LLC for a piece of real estate is actually a really good, really good structure to use. Okay, so in a scenario where you get sued and you lose, this is where a charging order has its most, powerful effect. Okay, so in this scenario, I have an LLC and I get sued and I lose, right? So in this situation, every time a lawsuit is, settled out or figured out by a judge or anything like that, there's usually what they call damages, right? Which is the restitution, the money, the value that is given to the person making the claim. All right, so that money is coming from me to that other person, or that value is coming from me to that other person. So in a circumstance that could happen, it usually doesn't happen this way, but it could, is that person could be awarded a share or a portion of that company. All right, so if that company is the owner of that house and that person was awarded a portion of that company, then they could control that asset if they wanted to. Okay, and so this is the situation I'm talking about here. So say I own that house as a corporation, not an LLC, as a corporation. All right, so as a corporation, we talked about this before. A corporation has shareholders, and an LLC has members. All right, so in the situation, I get sued, I lose, and own that company as a corporation, and that person who won the lawsuit wants equity in that company versus money. Okay, and the judge agrees. So if they get 50 to 51% of the shares of that company, they control that corporation. If they control that corporation, they could force me out of the company or make decisions that I don't want to do. So in reality, if I lose a lawsuit and I own it under a corporation, I lose control of the asset that I owned previous to this. Okay, so why an LLC is the best thing, right? Because in that same scenario, I get sued, I lose, and I own that house or that piece of real estate as an LLC. The only thing that they could do is what's called issuing a charging order. Okay, a charging order means that it's basically, hey, Mr. Defendant or whatever, you won, and now you are entitled to $100,000. All right. So what happens is that person cannot control the asset. That person is still awarded their money. They're still entitled to get whatever lawsuit that whatever awards that lawsuit happened, right? But they only get it in the form of money. They can't get it in the form of ownership of a company. So that's the biggest separation I'm trying to drive home here. They essentially garnish the wages of the LLC until that person's award has been made full, right? So that person says, okay, you're authorized to receive $100,000. This company doesn't have it, so they're going to say, okay, you're going to get $1,000 a month until you're paid off. And those are the rules. So any kind of money that the LLC makes, they have to give the person who won that lawsuit $1,000 a month until they receive the entirety of their settlement. So in one circumstance, you're leaving yourself exposed to losing your company or being forced out of your company, whereas in the other scenario with an LLC, you just have to make payments until they're paid off.
And guys, do me a favor right now, man. If you guys understood that, man, and Ian, thank you for that. Make sure you guys give me make sure you follow me on Twitter Spaces, Ian and Jonathan Bing. For those of you who are here, I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys already follow Jonathan. And yeah, y'all can if y'all could please give me a follow, that would be great. And then also let me read this real quick so you guys got this part. I pulled up charging order and some of the and I pulled this up from the corporate. This talks about the value of the chart, the holding company. It's a type of company that exists primarily to own and control other companies. Hint, hint, the LLCs, right? Typically through holding is a significant portion of their voting stocks. The benefit of a holding company structure can vary depending on specific business strategies and goals. Asset protection. Holding companies can provide a layer of protection for assets of each subsidiary. What are the subsidiaries? The LLCs. What is another, the big thing is that the trust owns the company and the holding company operates the businesses, right? So by diversifying investments across different subsidiaries or industries, a holding company can spread risk. If one subsidiary faces challenges, the overall impact on the holding company may be mitigated by success of the subsidiaries. Tax efficiency, centralized management, facilities business expansion, financial flexibility. There's so many benefits to a holding company, man. And a lot of people are not talking about it because they don't understand why they need it, right? If you have multiple properties, get it out of your name, put it in the trust, create the corporate structures, and then have the holding company operate and own a portion of the business. This is going to create a little hamster wheel for people who are trying to sue you. Okay. Now, and it doesn't cost much to do, right? Call an attorney, say, do you have experience on holding companies? Can you explain it to me? Okay. And if you don't even want to, you don't even have to do that though. You don't even have to have a holding company. But this is another reason why I always tell people to have multiple limited liability companies operating different businesses. Here's another benefit of having multiple LLCs. When you have multiple LLCs, one LLC can borrow from the other LLC. So one of my companies can loan one of my other companies money. And guess what? It is a tax write-off, the interest. So if I got one property and then I want to borrow money from the other LLC, I can actually borrow money from the other company. So guys, people have been doing this for years and years and years. Okay. You have 3 properties. You can have 3 business lines of credit. Okay. Hopefully D12, if you're still here, we were able to answer your question. Any other questions or comments on the stage right now? Because we are way past our time. Anybody have any questions on Twitter Spaces? Now,
I have a question, Chuck. Okay, so you're saying that each property, each has a separate LLC. So is it a separate trust, or are they all in
no,
the same trust? The
no,
different properties.
no. It depends on the great question. That's a really good question. So, okay, I have 2 trusts. I have a revocable trust and I have an irrevocable trust. The reason why I have 2 is because I didn't formulate it the correct way before. Now, so you can have all of those in one trust. You don't have to have 2 trusts. I just have 2 because I messed mine up in the beginning. Okay. By doing research. Okay. I set up an irrevocable trust at first and I put assets in there and then I had to do another one.
Okay, so the holding company is the beneficiary, and so is the LLC the trustee?
Okay, so let me explain that so we don't get lost in translation. Okay, so Chuck, this is what I want you to do. Okay, do me a favor. I want you to click the link above my head, right? Yep. And on that YouTube channel, you will see Trust Explained, and go through that YouTube. Ian, can you see if you can find that and post that at the top? If you could do that for me. The reason why I want to do that is because in order for me to explain that and get into that, that's a whole nother topic, and it's going to take me another 20 to 30 minutes to explain it. So
I'm familiar with trust. I mean, I just basically pseudo litigated one for 3 years of my grandmother's, and then I have a few set up myself. But I was just trying. People have talked about having LLC as the trustee
and I've heard people saying it as the beneficiary. So I was just trying to see how your structure would have been.
Okay, so the beneficiary of my trust is the holding company,
Mm-hmm.
not an individual. And the reason why, and just so you guys know, the reason why I put the beneficiary as the holding company is the holding company has people in it that has voting rights on what happens to my companies. So instead of having it as an individual and putting that pressure, the holding company has a board, and then the board members will decide on who, and then, my kids are going to be able to be beneficiaries, but the main, the holding company is the beneficiary of the trust. So that way, when I die, all of my assets will be in the holding company, and then the members in the holding company will benefit from that. Does that make sense?
Yes, but who do you have as the trustee?
Okay. So the trustee are board members. I have more than one trustee.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
So the board members of the holding company?
Yes.
Right. Okay.
You understand why I did it like that?
Yes.
Okay, can you explain it so you understand, so people can understand? Because I want to make sure that people don't lose this. And this is the reason why I didn't want to get into this conversation, because there's so many ways to structure a trust, guys. When you start, so remember, OR gives, EE receives. So when you guys are structuring your trust and stuff like that, when you talk to the person, talk to them about a holding company and see who you want the beneficiaries to be. Now, my kids are going to benefit from that, but I want my money to last 3 generations. If I have the beneficiary of my trust just being my kids, what happens if I was to pass away today and they inherited my business? They can't operate the business. So I have successor trustees in place. I have a holding company that votes on certain things, and there's certain rules and regulations that I have in my trust. Let me give you an example. One example would be my kids have to maintain a 3.0 grade point average in order to unlock money for undergrad. That I have more money unlocked when they go to grad school. I have additional money unlocked when they get ready to buy a house. And then I also have in my trust, listen to this. You're going to like this one, Chuck. Check this out. My kids' spouse. So when they get married, my kids' spouse have to sign a prenuptial agreement, okay, that says that the only way that my wealth that I built for my kids, so they money for them to have access to, okay, and I got this from shout out to Cindy Stampo. She gave me this idea. Okay, and all I had to do for my trust is just do an edit to my trust. And basically put this in my operating agreement. It doesn't cost a whole lot of money, right? I was trying to figure out how to do it. But my kids, when they get married, their spouse has to sign a prenuptial agreement to unlock the money that I have set aside for them. Does that make sense? So that means that they're going to have to go to the holding company, and I have a board of trustees, right? And those people are going to determine whether or not they sign off on what my kids are trying to do. Now, the reason why I have it like that is because, you don't want your money just going away, man. You save all of this money, boom, the kids get the money and it's gone in one generation. So that means that my kid's spouse will have to sign. Now, if they become a millionaire and a multimillionaire and they create their own job and they do whatever, I'm going to be dead. I don't care what they do with their money. But what I have built and all of the companies that I have created, they're not going to have access to that unless they sign a prenuptial agreement. So that means that they get married, they're husband or wife, they want to they want to marry my kids, then whatever they build together is what they build, but they're not going to benefit from what I have built for nobody's just going to marry my son or my daughter and just reap the rewards of what I built for my children. Does that make sense, Chuck? Now, a lot of people say,
yes, absolutely. Mm-hmm.
That's crazy. But what happens if my daughter marries a dirtbag and he says, hey, I want to start a band. And if you love me, go write a check, get a check from your trust for 50 grand. And she gets a check and then now he leaves. You get what I'm saying? So these provisions I'm putting in place so my money lasts generations and generations. Are there any questions or comments to what we talked about today?
Last question. I'm sorry.
Chuck.
So the LLC the individual LLC for that particular property is not in the it's not listed in the trust anyway. It's just
Yes,
receives the money. Okay.
yes, it is. All of my corporate structures are listed. All of my every single thing that I own, to include cars, watches,
Okay. So that's an asset then. It's an
every
asset in
every
the
single
trust.
asset that has a serial number that's above $500, to include my accounts, okay, are in the trust. And a matter of fact, Ian, can you do a quick room reset and then stay put, because I'm gonna grab some of the documents out of my safe and I'm gonna read them to you how it's structured. Put a 1 in the chat if you guys want me to do that, because I want you guys to hear how everything is done. I'll read the part where it says the money part. Okay. Anybody put a 1 in the chat or tweet a 1. I will go get the documents while Ian runs the show for a couple of minutes. Ian, you got it.
All right, everybody here. Quick room reset. You are in the Winning Real Estate group and house and whatever the heck they call them on Twitter, space, right? All right, also, this is the Winning Real Estate group. So what we do is we make sure that we give everything we can to the people that want to show up and learn all about real estate and investment strategies, in particular, how you can not only make it, but also how you keep it. All right, so thanks. I want to appreciate everybody for coming in here. Big shout out to Nelson and Jonathan Bing, who came here to support us, in addition to everybody that rolled up in Twitter and Clubhouse. All right, so in case you guys are new to the brand, what we do is we give our information here about a variety of different topics. The best bet for y'all is to go to the YouTube channel that we have pinned to the top on X and on Clubhouse. Check out our YouTube channel and then go to our lives. All right, what that is that they'll bring you to the YouTube phase where because we broadcast all these situations live, and it's a chance for you to go back and take notes and listen to it on the long form, skip ahead, all that. I mean, we know y'all are busy. All right. So
I'm
one of the
back.
things that we want to touch on is that we have a huge opportunity to teach everybody, and we want to thank everybody for coming in here. I'm going to pass the mic back to Tony because he was faster than the speed of sound. So anyway, back to Tony and kick it.
Okay. All right. So here, I'm going to read this part right here. Listen. Blank trust, bank accounts, CDs, money market accounts, change the title of the asset to the trust. Credit unions, make the trust either the owner or the beneficiary of the account. When you open a new account, please title set forth above. IRAs, 401ks, make the trust the beneficiary for and the holding company. When your children are older, you may want to have them be in the direct beneficiaries instead of the holding company due to tax planning purposes. Okay, life insurance policies, change the beneficiaries of all of your policies to the trust. Now, here's the reason why I did that. Okay, the reason why I did the policies, all of the life insurance policies that I have in the holding company and the trust, okay, is because I don't want my kids to get, write a check when I pass away for $1 million. What I did is I have my life insurance policies pay off all of my real estate debt, so my kids inherit. So my kids will inherit properties that print money. It's basically like inheriting a bank account. I mean, an ATM machine. Every first that prints money. And then same with the companies, the LLCs. The reason why you do that is because if you have an LLC, okay, and that LLC is running a rental income business, the business line of credit is continuing to grow and the asset is appreciating over time. So the money is growing and growing and growing. So what I'm talking to you guys about is structuring everything the correct way, guys. When you listen to me, get the properties out of your freaking name. Have the corporate structure operate the business. Build the 3 C's: credit, collateral, and capital. Once you operate those businesses, I just showed you guys where you can save over $500,000, close to $500,000 by doing this strategy and income. I'll give you the example. Publication 560 says that I can put $265,000 tax-free into a defined benefit plan. You cannot do that without a corporate structure. It also says I can put $66,000 into a SEP IRA, simplified employee pension plan. So that means I can lower my taxable income by $66,000 by utilizing that strategy. 401k, I can put $22,500 in there. You cannot do that without having a corporate structure. And the last and final thing that I'm going to talk about is the Augusta rule. 280A it allows your corporate structure to rent your personal residence and pay a reasonable amount for having business meetings at your house. So when we come on here, we're telling you guys about this stuff. We're not just out here talking, man. We're actually doing this stuff. And when people, what happens is that people will get their real estate, and then the money goes into their account instead of it going through a corporate structure. And that corporate structure allows you, when it goes through the corporate structure, that allows you to fund these pension plans. So you have that money going through there, and that money that goes in these accounts will allow you to grow that money tax deferred. Any questions or comments about that? All right. So let me read this other part and then I'm going to be done. Listen, guys, for those of you who are on Twitter Spaces, make sure you give me a follow. Also, Clubhouse, if you guys have questions, feel free to raise your hand because I know some of this stuff might go over people's head. I want to make sure I break it down to where all of you guys can understand it. And I see MT, Murph, Sleeper, Marie. Make sure you guys continue to come in here because I'll be giving this information away for free. And we're not asking for anything. All we're asking for you guys is to follow us on YouTube and comment on what you learned today. Now, any questions?
So your operating agreement is what gives the LLC the authority to operate that property, being them both being in the trust. Is
That is
that
correct.
correct?
That is correct. The operating agreement tells the strict provisions on how that LLC is to operate the rental income business. But remember that trust owns the property, so the trust supersedes the limited liability company. Any other questions?
Yeah, Anthony, I got a question.
What's your question, brother?
Yeah, so I might have missed a little bit of it because I kind of tapped in late. So I own like 5 properties. I have them in the LLC. I was trying to work on eventually getting um, into the trust, get the trust set up. What would your advice be for one like myself that haven't really done a trust, but want to get it done and not avoid all the headaches or not doing it the right way? Would you recommend I get legal help, or is that
Yes,
something that I?
absolutely. Okay. So here's that's a great question, D Woods. Listen to me. Call an attorney and ask them if they have experience with holding companies, LLCs, and estate planning. If they don't have experience with that, don't hire them because a lot of people just do cookie cutter trust. And that's the mistake that I learned that I had to learn all of this stuff. So the stuff that I'm telling you guys about, like I'll give you an example right here. Beneficiaries. If everybody unmute your mic and say
If
If
if the beneficiary has graduated from an accredited university or college with at least a 4-year baccalaureate degree prior to attaining at age of 25, the holding company shall distribute X amount of dollars of the principal of the beneficiary's trust balance. So what happens? What does that say? My kids don't go to college, they ain't getting the bread, dog. Okay. Here's another one. Holding company attains at age 25, okay, of the balance of the principal, the holding company trusts to him or her. When such beneficiary attains age 30, the entire balance of the trust could be attained at the age of 35. If the beneficiary has not graduated from an accredited university or college with at least 4-year baccalaureate degree, then the holding company shall distribute X percent of the principal of the trust to him or her when such beneficiary attains the age of 35. So the way I have this set up is that they have to achieve certain things for the trust to unlock money. And the reason why I have it like this is because, okay, if my trust makes $1 million, then my trust is only going to be able to the kids are only going to be able to get X amount of dollars. So what happens to that money that's in the trust? What happens to that money that's in those investment accounts? Hint, hint. What continues to happen to that money? If I have $1 million and it only unlocks $50,000 a year, what happens to the rest of the money?
It accrues interest.
It continues to grow, guys. Ladies and gentlemen, that's how generational wealth is created. Okay. The money that's in there will continue to accrue money. All right.
Hey Tony, didn't you say before that you put a limitation on how much money that they're allowed to pull out, and they cannot go below?
Yes. So great question. So setting, and guys, this is all, listen, all of this stuff is all this looks difficult to do, but it's not. Look, this book is thin. Okay. All right. It's very thin. And then also up here, I have successor trustees in here. It says if the trust shall for any reason terminate due to life, such as income beneficiary, all remaining assets of the trust estate shall go to the holding company. Accumulated undistributed income shall be distributed to such income beneficiaries. It's all set up, guys. And the reason why, look, I told them what I wanted to do. I made adjustments within the trust. It cost me a lot of money to do it because I did it the wrong way the first time. So when I started reading, okay, and understanding this stuff, then I started switching stuff around. So the reason why I don't have a certain amount of money, all of the money unlocked at one time, is because my kids will blow it. So I unlock a certain amount of money for certain things. And then what that does is it allow my kids to, their kids could benefit from what I built now. And then also it teaches them about, it's going to force them to read. Okay. They're gonna be like, man, my dad is a dirtbag. I can only get $10. But what it does for the kids is that they're gonna understand how important it is to get a trust themselves. Now, the question that I propose to you guys is that if you have real estate and you don't have a trust, why? Get it done. Put a timeline in the chat right now when you're going to get this done. If you have real estate assets right now, give me a date between now and April 1st. Put a date in the chat where you will get this done. I'm telling you guys this stuff because it's important, man. It's very, very important. It's critical for you guys to do this. Just get it done. All right.
Last question, Tony. I had a question about, okay, as far as the trustees, and you said the board members. How do you continue that past your? I know you're one of the board members, of course, but how do you continue that going forward? Till 50 years, 60 years, or whatever down the line, having those trustees in place.
Successor trustees.
Okay.
So successor trustees. So in the event, remember who is operating the companies? The holding what?
The holding company's board members.
There you go. So in the event that board members, my kids are on the board, right? So when they become at the legal age, then they will be board majority stakeholders in the company. But in the operating agreement, it's certain provisions that's written in there to make sure that they don't go rogue, right?
Okay.
So, and then I have people that's on the, in here that I trust. Like, I have people that's in my company that are in here, right? I have a broker that's in here that's if I die today, I have a broker that's going to operate the company. She's going to benefit from operating the company. And I have people that are in the business that are going to continue to operate the companies. And my kids are going to benefit from the company still going on, the money that comes in there.
So you wouldn't want a law firm to handle that?
Well, you don't have to have a law firm, but you can have an attorney. But if your operating agreement is tight, I mean, when you get to where it depends on how many assets that you have, brother, to be honest with you. I mean, if you got one property, I mean, just get your trust. I mean, whatever they do with, whatever they do, the whole purpose of this conversation is not get so deep into the weeds to where it gets complicated, right? Now, I don't know where you're at in your financial journey, but, I'm not an attorney, right? So I'm just telling you my example of how I have my stuff set up. There's a million, Chuck, there's a million and one ways to set up a trust, right?
Right. Yes, absolutely.
And for full disclosure, I'm not an attorney or a CPA or anything like that. I'm just giving you examples. I'm giving you basic information and examples so you guys can start to research this information.
Right.
Okay.
No, I was just thinking of like a firm that, well, it's firm's been around 100 years. It's probably be around another 100 years, and that they will be able to handle the assets for my great great grandchildren, kind of thing.
Yep. And then also here's another thing too. So within your scenario, right? Because I don't want to go down the rabbit hole of a trust. We'll do a trust room. Put a 1 in the chat. Retweet a 1 if you guys want us to do a trust room, because we'll do that as well. Okay, we'll do a trust room and then go through these. There's a bunch of stuff that you could put in place. You could put organizations in your company, right, for managing your trust. There's a bunch of things that you guys could do. So hopefully, Chuck, I was able to answer your question. But if you click the link above my head, I go through every single style of trust and how the terminology, the people that's within the trust, the positions, and all of that other stuff as well. So if you guys want to subscribe to the YouTube channel and get information on trust, it's in there. Okay. Anybody have any other questions before we shut down? I'm gonna leave the room open for another 5 or 6 minutes. Any other questions?
Yeah, Anthony, one other thing. So just to recap, when you get that trust set up, going forward, I believe I heard you say buy all your properties, all your assets in the trust
Put the
when it comes
properties in the
to
trust, not buy them.
right.
You buy them
Well, that's
with
what
whatever income, and then you can put the properties in the trust and then have the corporate structures operate in the business.
okay, that's what I meant. So, because I'm looking to purchase some land and probably possibly build on it. But that might be something that I'm working on here shortly. But if I use it and I'm buying it and building like anywhere between a 2 to a 4 unit, maybe a multi-unit, then actually I want to have that trust already set up for the next property I do.
Yeah. I mean, a trust is the cool thing about trust, man, once you set it up, it's done, man. You can make changes to it, but at least have it. And any assets that you get, I'll give you an example. I collect watches. I sign documents with a nice watch on. And then when I pass these down, my son is going to get my watches, right? So he could say, that picture right there, that's when he bought, my first property. You could see him signing a picture. I'll upload a picture on Instagram with us showing you that when I sign some documents, but it's little things like that are sentimental and value to me. But the biggest thing is, get your properties, y'all. Get your properties. Get your corporate structures in place. Talk to a tax professional and get going, guys. It's 2024. A lot of y'all have a lot of dreams and a lot of I want to do this, but listen, if you didn't do it in 2023, it wasn't important. The fundamental purpose of this room is accountability. Get to the bag ASAP. I'm going to put the number in the chat for the last time, 760-385-8211. Okay. I put it in there, 760, text WIN to 760-385-8211. If you want accountability and you're looking to get a property, we can help you underwrite the property. We can help you acquire the property. We can help you get the financing for the property. And then as you can see, we can help you structure everything so the money flows through correctly. Now, Marie, I see you have your hand raised. What question do you have, Marie?
Sir, I just want to say thank you. I understood pretty much everything. I'm not at that level yet. I'm almost, and I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Mr. Bing, in the future, I hope that you both, our host and everybody, does more shows. Thank you.
Marie, thank you. That makes me feel good. Okay. That makes me feel all snuggly. All right. Thank you for coming in here, guys. I'm going to blow up on Twitter. And I hope you guys can see this journey, but I need receipts. The only way that I'm going to get receipts is I need some people to commit to the process. We will help you get the property, help you lock the property up. And I need more and more people to come in here. As you can see, I know what I'm talking about. I've been doing this for a long time, man. And I made a lot of mistakes. Okay. So, I'm trying to teach you guys and show you guys that it can be done. And this is from a guy from the backwoods of Georgia. Okay. If I can do it and you can add and subtract, so can you. There's no reason for you guys not to get to the well. But the biggest thing is that the corporate structures and the real estate is going to give you the most bang for your bucks, guys. If you don't have them, then you're going to be in the rat race. Let's really think about this. They set up all of these holidays and give you time off for you to spend money. Okay. In order for you to really get to big money, you guys got to invest money. It's important. Okay. Does Anthony offer services to veterans only? No, for everybody, Lisa. What are you talking about? It's for everybody, Lisa Foster. We offer information. This information was universal. Okay. I'm a veteran, so I focus on veterans, but this is universal information for anyone. Okay. Coaching, mentoring, educating. You know, I have not heard a room more thorough than this one in regard to maybe one topic, but what we like to do is bring a variety. We know a little bit about everything. Okay. We're like the Swiss
Hey,
Army knife of investing. Anybody have questions? Somebody else had a question?
yeah, Anthony, it's D12 again.
Yes.
Hey, I had a couple more questions for you. One, I wanted to see if you can underwrite a deal for me. I just opened escrow on yesterday. I'm a little reserved and looking at, I don't know, I'm on the edge of either moving forward with it or dropping out of it. And so I wanted your feedback on it, one. And then two, I wanted to get your feedback and input on, kind of a forecast on what your opinion is for the real estate market, as far as if we're in a cycle for a downturn or things are going to stay flat or grow up, have an uptick and so forth. But
That's a great question. I'm gonna answer that one. Let me pause right there. Ian, are you here?
Yeah, I'm here.
Rock out the stats in regard to the real estate market. Is it going to be a recession? And tell me, keep it short, man, because we got to shut down. But Ian's going to give you statistical data on what's going on right now. And I'm going to tell you the reason why the real estate market is not going to crash. Okay. And I'm going to give you Ian is going to rock out for a minute. And I'm going to tell you, get as much property as you can. If you can afford it, get it. Okay. Right now, we have a big shortage of houses, single family homes, multi-units, across the board, right? And right now, you guys are messing around trying to figure out and time the market. And what's going to happen to you guys is that the interest rates are going to go down. It's going to drive more buyers to the market. And then now you're going to miss the bubble. If you would have bought a single family home pre-COVID for $450,000, you would have had $250,000 of equity in your property right now. Stop waiting. Okay? Scarcity, transferability, utility, and demand. We have a huge demand for properties and we have a scarcity problem. Ian, kick it real quick.
Okay, so here, this is just raw data that I pull up. And what it does is the best thing about it is that it gives you year over year data. But the thing is that this coming year is going to be a special one. All right, for one, like inflation, they kind of get a hold on inflation. And there's a extreme demand for housing. Like if you weren't paying attention before, we're a couple million, almost closer to 3 or 4 million houses short of the demand. So demand is high. It's just that the price can't meet it because of the interest rate, and because it's a election year. I mean, chances are they're going to start playing with the interest rate to basically show how amazing they are. All right, so check this out, year over year data. This is the data now compared to a year ago. All right, so the median listing price is up a 1.5%. So it's been kind of flat, right? So we've had kind of a not stagnant, but flat growth line here the past year. So you'll see across this data right now, the active listing count is starting to creep up. All right, we're at 4% for active listings increase year over year. The median days on market is down. It's actually starting to trend down a little bit, down 6%. The amount of new listings have gone up almost 7%. The number with reduced prices has gone down 7%. It's not that big, but it's starting to shift, right? And the number with reduced prices again. Hold on, no, that's not the one I'm looking for. So yeah, price reduced count. The number of houses that have been experienced a price reduction has gone down 7%. All right, and so this is what's different though, is that we looked at this data. What was the last time we did this, Tony? Like a month ago or so?
Yep.
About a month ago, everything across the board, the data I just talked about, the number of listings, the number of active listings, the amount reduced prices, all that stuff, it was flat. I'm talking less than a 1% change year over year. And right now, with just this one month or so, as people start going from year over year, and there was just a interest rate decrease, everything is starting to click all over again. Right? Everybody's been lurking in the background the last year and a half, waiting for interest rates to change again, so that way they can jump back into it. And it's going to happen. And so, I mean, if you haven't bought anything, or if you're trying to buy anything, or you're thinking about it, go from thinking about it to doing it, because what's going to happen, the second rates drop, is going to be a gold rush all over again. So make sure you're in there, so that way you don't have to fight and compete for a bidding war. All you got to do is just get in there and hold off until you can refinance.
And Chuck, let me say this real quick too, for you. I was looking through my trust advisory committee is what I have. Okay. So and I put these positions in there because I had to read through it because I couldn't remember. You got legal counsel for trust and corporate trustee. Those are the people that are doing this stuff. Okay. So it says in here, the advisory committee appointed to provide guidance and advice to the trustee, particularly in complex trust structures. And then the investment advisor is the people that I have in there. Okay. So I have a CPA in there, and then I also have a bookkeeper in there. Okay. So all of this stuff, mine is more complex. So, but for the basic level trust person, trustor, trustee, grantor, grantee, I mean, you don't have to have all of the stuff. For complex stuff, you can have a trust administrator, okay, and then legal counsel for trust. I put those in there so people can look at those. If you have multiple properties, you might want to look at adding these people in there, because when I initially did my trust, I didn't have all of these people. I just had me, my kids, and then I had a successor trustee. And that person, right now that's a irrevocable trust, and I got properties and assets in there. And, it's difficult for me to change. So, look these textbook definitions up. Trust advisory committee, okay, investment advisor, legal counsel for trust, and corporate trustee. Okay, look those up. You guys are going to research those. That's your homework for today. And then let me go back to to answer D12's question. At the end of the day, we'll give you the mathematics, and I'll post a link in the chat. So I want you to underwrite the property yourself, and we'll walk you through it. But you need to know if you're the bank can. Here's another thing for buying multi-units also. So when you guys are buying multi-units or single family homes and stuff like that, typically the bank will help you underwrite the property, especially with multi-units, guys. When you're buying multi-units, they will help you underwrite the property. So, but I'll give you the 9 steps to underwriting property, D12. Just shoot me a private message, and then we'll hop on a phone call, and then I'll walk you through it. Now, I can't be on the phone with you for hours, but I can give you, I'll give you the 9 steps of underwriting. That way you can walk through them, and I'm going to make you do it so you're confident with doing it yourself. Okay?
Yeah, no worries. I got the figures on it. I just wanted your feedback and input if you thought it was a good deal. I'm actually buying it sight unseen, but I sent one of my guys over there to look at it.
Who's one of your guys?
Photos.
Who's one of your guys?
A guy that I work with locally. He's a wholesaler, so he knows how to take photos and everything else like that.
No, brother.
So he did that.
Listen to me.
Yep.
Listen. Is it a single family home or a multi-unit?
Single family.
Listen to me, brother. Listen. Home inspector, okay, and a licensed contractor. Before you buy that property, get a home inspection, because that's going to give you that's going to check the plumbing, heating, air, electrical, foundation, roof, and framing for the house. And then get a contractor. If it needs rehab, get a contractor to walk through it to give you a scope of work, because you cannot underwrite a property if you don't have those 2 things.
Yeah. Well, that's the problem, is that it's there's squatters in there as well too. And so I can't actually access the interior to see the property. So I have to deal with eviction after I take ownership of it.
Brother, we need to have a conversation for sure. Yeah. Okay, just hit me up, and then we'll walk. We'll a couple of things. Okay, let me tell y'all. I'm gonna give y'all a little hidden movement. Are y'all ready? Put a 1 in the chat. Put a 1 in the chat if you guys enjoyed this conversation, man. This was a phenomenal conversation, guys. We're gonna be having these rooms every Tuesdays and Thursdays, 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Make sure you follow me on Twitter. Make sure you give me some love on YouTube. Please click the link above my head and just put a comment, because we've been rocking out for 3 whole hours. I need your help with helping us monetize on YouTube. We're already past the monetization stage, but we're trying to get to the next level because I know this information is essential for you guys to win. And thank you, Mark, for the support. Guys, look. All right, so I'm going to give you a hack. Y'all ready for this one? You're going to like this one. When you are rehabbing a property and it is empty, create a rental agreement as the owner. Now, why can anybody, this is a little bit of real estate trivia. Why would I want to create a rental agreement for a vacant property that I'm rehabbing or that I own?
For insurance purposes.
No, this is even, y'all gonna like this
No,
one.
it's so you can finance and use that towards
Nope.
your debt to income ratio.
Nope. You're gonna really like this one, man. Put a fire emoji in the chat because I'm about to drop a freaking 20 karat cubic zirconium right now. Why do Dr. Ashley, thank you for joining us. Why do I want to, if you buy a property and it is vacant, or even if it's not vacant, you have tenants moving out, why do I want to create a rental agreement with me and the property?
So squatters don't come in. Squatters don't come in. Yep.
We both said squatters at the same time.
No, listen to this. Y'all gonna like this crap right here. Check this out. Anytime I have a vacant property, I always write a rental agreement. I get a ghost rental agreement. It could be with a family member. It could be with a friend. It could be with anyone. Hey, listen, I'm going to write this rental agreement. I'm going to put a rental agreement in place. Do you know why? Because you don't have to evict anyone that moves in. Y'all understand? Did it click with y'all?
Squatters?
Listen to me. Check this out.
Yes.
Follow me with this.
Trespassing.
Bingo, boom.
Bruh.
Oh man, that is listen. You cannot okay, if a person moves in that's a squatter and they don't have a rental, you can go to their property and say, "Hey, I'm the tenant of this property. This person is an intruder." That avoids you have to evicting a squatter that's in your property. All you have to do is show the police officer your rental agreement, and then if they're not on the lease, they're going to remove them because they're trespassing.
Can I do that on this new escrow?
Man, it's too late now because they have already established ownership of that property. We need to talk about that, man, because if you got a squatter in there, man, it's gonna be tough to get them out of there depending on how long they've been in that property. So we need to talk about that. This is a bar right here. I hope you guys got that. Let me say this one more time, okay? You have a property that is vacant. Get a freaking rental agreement with somebody in your family, yourself, or whatever, because if a cop shows up, they are trespassing. They're not a squatter because you are the only person that is on the lease. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Win in Real Estate. If that's a bar, put a fire emoji in the chat or retweet this space. If you guys like that bar that I just dropped, guys, okay, put a fire emoji or tweet a fire emoji in the chat. I would really appreciate that. Dr. Ashley, are you here?
Hey y'all, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. You want to close us out?
Well, first of all, I have not seen Mark since last year.
Mark Mark been on the beach, man, with some Speedos on, chilling.
I know. Where has he been? Let's go. Good to see him and everyone else in the building. Great to be back. Thanks, Anthony, for the warm welcome as always. And I don't know how you want me to close it out, but it sounds as if I saw you on Facebook Live as well.
Mm-hmm.
So it sounds as if you've been dropping a lot of great information as you always do. And I agree with Antoinetta. She posted on your Facebook the other day that you need to get busy writing this book. And I second that. You need to get busy writing this book with all these strategies to win in real estate.
ChatGPT.
Oh, you're going to use ChatGPT to write your book?
It's going to be done tomorrow.
I can't.
Chuck, did you have a question? Your mic is hot. Right? Oh, Chuck out here.
I'm sorry, but
okay. So here's the deal, guys. Listen, check this out. Click the link above my head. The replays will be on YouTube instead of going to Clubhouse. And then, guys, remember, we do these rooms every Tuesdays and Thursdays. Shout out to Mark Days for putting everything in the chat. Shout out to all of the people who stayed out here with us. We're going to give you something when you stay here long enough. You're going to learn something, but we don't like people in the listening lounge just catching information, right? So listen, you come on stage, man. You might catch a pass that might change everything. So sometimes it's good to get on stage and ask your question versus just get this information and then open up y'all's room and say the stuff that I said and act like y'all learned it. Y'all created it. All right. I'm joking with y'all, but I like for people to be on stage with us. Okay. So listen, when you guys come up here, we'll listen. The next room we'll probably do is some of the little hidden movements that we could do for rental agreements to protect yourself. I think that will be a really good play. Make sure you follow all of the moderators. Make sure you follow me on Twitter. And Jonathan Bing, thank you for hanging out and bringing the space here. D12, thank you for your question. Marie, thank you for your question on Twitter Spaces. Guys, we will be here Tuesday, 9:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time with another hot topic. And guys, if you want to win and you're tired of procrastinating, text WIN to 760-385-8211. Listen to me. If you're trying to get to the bag, we will show you how to do this stuff. Instead of trying to do it by yourself, guys, we can help you get through it. Okay. And we need your receipts. The more people that come up here. Yesterday, we had 32 people, I think 31 or 32 people commit to investing in real estate yesterday. Okay. Who's going to be 33? Okay. All right. So let's see. All right. We really appreciate you guys. And thank you guys for coming in and have an amazing day on purpose.
Stolen.